Hey there everyone, welcome to Chroniclecraft. I'm your GM Dustin. This will be our first video into the campaign I've been running for a little over 2 years now. It's a homebrew campaign I'm calling the Legacy of Royalty, and we're dropping into part 2 of this campaign series, The Heart of the Queen. I'll be putting together a more lengthy retrospective and lore dive into the first game, and we're kind of going to go over all of this in a bit more detail. But I just want to give you a quick primer before diving into the game. First off, this is a homebrew, but I am using the map of Exandria, which some of you may know from Critical Role. While I am using the map, the names of a lot of places, the events that happened in its history, and the way of cities and governments look and operate are all subject to change. We're just using the map here. Second, I host my games on Telspire, so most of the gameplay footage you'll see is on there. Wanted to give a quick shout out to the website talestavern.com, which is a great place to get boards and resources for Telspire. I'm not sponsored by any of these. I just like personal recommendations for things that I find easier for my job of GMing. Finally, all of my character sheets are set up on D&D Beyond. Again, not sponsored, just like things my players are familiar with. With that out of the way, let's give you a quick rundown of the events that led to where you will be joining us. The first campaign of this 3-part series was titled The Sign of the King. My players were Cody as Meep, an Aarakocra warlock turned paladin, Joseph as Nalzareth Voctus, a dragonborn Echo Knight fighter, Trey as Pfrauk Halioo, a Genasi Tempest cleric, and Francesca as Techno Rube, an Azamar sorcerer. The campaign followed that crew as it came together to participate in a contest hosted by the governor of Port Damali, a man named Damian Murik, to go into the peninsula to the west, what is on the map the Lushgut Forest, and find the city of Onburn. They were tasked to take over the city by removing its current leader, and if they succeeded, they would become the heads of this new city, the governors of a city-state under Port Damali's authority. The party succeeded in their task, discovering some interference by the courts of High Fae, and became leaders of the city. The campaign stayed very focused in this area after that point, as the players did some city building, securing roads, setting up outposts and textile sites, and learning more about their new dominion that they were in charge of. The party now called itself the High Council of Onburn, and they started to learn more about the interference of the Fae courts and other movements behind the scenes that they found themselves pawns of by winning this contest. They eventually uncovered a plot to infect all the citizens of Onburn and the surrounding woods of the Lushgut Forest with a curse, a small seed that was spread through the water supply that the population would unknowingly drink and which would grow inside of them, turning into these stick-thin creatures with skin that was like pale bone wood. We'll get into more details of that during the retrospective, but the High Council of Onburn found some roots of this conspiracy and decided to separate from Port Damali and Damien, forming their own independent kingdom. The kingdom was named Stormtalon, and the city of Onburn became Hravenheim. Meep was elected as king of this new country, and the party got to work really trying to make a tangible difference in this place, making schools and hospitals, all while trying to get to the root of whatever was infecting the population of their new country. The events of the first campaign culminated when the party discovered the curse was spread as a component of a much larger spell. The rivers throughout the country ran red with blood as sigils were created within the branching streams, a spell the size of a country, all leading to the final termination of the river at the very northwestern peninsula and a ritual site, which was built in secret by Damien. They learned that this was all done in a bid to free the High King of Fae, Oberon. He was banished by the Queens of Fairy Mab of Winter and Titania of Summer in a pact with some demons. The party raced to the ritual site as the sun was eclipsed in blood, the final sign of the king, and entered a pitched combat with Damien, who was trying to take on the power of Oberon, who was still going to be weak from being summoned, and he was going to use that power over the Fae to get some revenge on the Fae courts. The party successfully defeated Damien and then bound the newly summoned Oberon, locking the king within the dragonborn Nals. Nals was brought to Deathstorm and locked in a deep slumber by the Queens of Fairy to prevent the spirit of Oberon from consuming him. Halioo Pfrauk became the Summer Knight, a mortal position in the Summer Court of Fae, which was the kind of fixer for the Courts of Fae on the Prime Material plane. Techno Rube set up a spy guild and started learning more about the world and some of the interconnected parts of it. She used Damien's old organization called The Hand to set up a pretty wide network of information. And then Meep, the king of Stormtalon, took on a queen, and there was finally peace in this newly built country. That is where we left Campaign 1. The party made sure to establish long-term goals, for the city and the country as a whole. But for Campaign 2, we picked up right back in Ravenheim, although this time we're 20 years in the future from the events of the last campaign. During that time, the country of Stormtown has become incredibly prosperous, due in no small part to the effects of the High Council, that all of the stuff that they had set up previously for us, all coming to fruition over the long term. The city of Aumburn, which used to be a small farming village, has now become a metropolis under a truly massive tree named Yggdrasil. This tree was planted by the previous party, and it was discovered that the seed came from a border tree, one of the massive oaks that actually separated the courts of winter and summer in the Feywild. In Campaign 2, which you're about to see, I promise we won't take too much longer, we follow a new group of adventurers, starting off in the kingdom built on the previous campaign. This new group is made out of a druid turtle named Morgren, who has been lost in the Feywild until recently, and that's played by Joseph, a artificer and teacher who is a professor at the University of Stormtalon named Dr. Johan, played by Aaron, a monk Leonin, who is on a quest to find his bravery, named Nero, played by Cody, and an automaton gnome, who was the creation of a member of the Council of Stormtalon, named Service Machine Assistant number 77. Or Small for short. That's played by Trey. This new group was put together by the Adventurers Guild of Stormtown, and since the beginning of the campaign, they've discovered a secret organization named the Quill Society, which they all, kind of against their will, became members of, and found an old temple to an ancient elven god named Etrus, the god of the Quiet Deep. The party is currently on the run away from Stormtalon because of a fight between Small and his dad Maximilian. We're still fairly new in this campaign, and you'll pick up context clues as we go, so let's just get right into it. Welcome to the Heart of the Queen. I hope you enjoy. Who wants to give us a recap of last session? It's kind of a mad dash session to get where we are currently.
If it's all right with everyone, I will do it. Yes, I have 2 levels of exhaustion, and I need inspiration.
Valid.
So, let's see. We started off with heading down into the sewers after Small ran away from Maximilian, and made our way deep into the underground of Yggdrasil to try and find him. Upon meeting up with him, we came up with a plan to get out of the city, which, after some argument, I think we just kind of came up with, well, we're going to have to get some help, and decided to take the offer for extraction from the Quill Society. So, making our way through the sewers, we also decided that we had to pick up the puppies at the bestiary. So me and God, I always forget your name.
Yeah.
Tony the Tiger.
Yeah, Tony the Tiger.
It's Tony the Tiger.
We
not
a tiger.
Yeah, you're a tiger. You're a tiger.
A liger.
That's racist.
With the assistance of just a whole bunch of magic, zoomed there, super stealthy, and went in, convinced the person over the bestiary to hand the puppies over without much incident, and made our way across the city to the docks where the drop-off for the extraction was set by the Quill Society. And Small and Johan had to do some magic trickery to slip past the guards who were chasing them in the tunnels, and then were able to escape to the docks as well, where we met them, grabbed the bag that had an orb in it, and upon all of us touching at the same time, we were transported to a desert?
A building in a desert.
A building in a desert.
Okay. A building in a desert, and that's where we left off.
Very good. Yeah, you can take a point of inspiration for that.
Nice.
Totally forgot we were in a desert. That's good to know.
Yeah, we're on a new continent.
Well, I forgot about the building. I heard just desert
out there. So yeah, last session you all were on a mad dash, escaping a situation of kind of your own making, as half of you, or the majority of you, kind of just ran from police that just wanted you for some basic questioning in relation to one of the like nobles of Stormtown effectively disappearing, like the son of a noble in Small, just kind of leaving.
They didn't have a warrant.
They did not have a warrant, and you all evaded capture and then made a mad dash for it, kind of indebting yourself to the Quill Society, the secret organization that you all had joined. As the smoke is still kind of clearing, there was a little puff of air as you all were teleported together, your bodies, leaving behind that void as the teleportation spell from the kind of port key that you touched took you out of Stormtalon and dropped you somewhere that you've never seen before. I don't know if any of you have ever seen a desert, period. But if you have, this one is not one that you're familiar with. And as you were looking around that first room you teleport in, you were joined by a member of the Quill Society, one of the higher ranking, the old professor of anthropology from Ravenheim University, Aladrin, a half-elf woman that is kind of just smiling at you all, not out of malice or anything, just seems actually happy that the drop-off was successful and you all made it here in one piece. So as
Insight check that.
Absolutely, you can insight check that. Go ahead.
I don't believe a goddamn thing. I believe everything that she has to say. I rolled an 8.
Does not seem with malice, no. Like I said, like she just seems like, oh, good, it works. Like, that kind of makes sense. I mean, getting a magical artifact like that into Stormtalon in the first place is kind of a pain. You like Stormtalon and Ravenheim overall, very secure borders, if nothing else. So, getting something like that in there that could, first off, work under the leaves of Yggdrasil, the protection canopy provided by the Feywild border tree set up in the capital. And then it not only working, but bringing all of you here without missing any parts of you seems like it's made her happy. So,
hey, you know what? I don't like that. And also, I was suspicious of this. I also do an inside check.
Yeah, sure.
I don't like that we helped them. Dirty 20.
I mean, there's not much more you can read. The satisfaction. First off, that contingency plan works. Maybe it's not something that they've had the opportunity to test before, how much their magical artifacts will actually work in Ravenheim.
So it's not like a sinister, like...
No, it's more like we know now that this works if we have agents in the area. Like
a scientific achievement or something like that.
Yeah, like they had a dead drop ready for this if it needed to happen. You all were really good test subjects for it.
Would Nero know the significance of that? The ability to teleport us out of Ravenheim like that?
If Nero doesn't, I'd say Dr. Johann and Small both would. And I think Nero's spent enough time in Ravenheim to know that there's a lot of protections around it. And anything that you can do that kind of slips by those protections is an achievement.
Yeah. Johann also acknowledges the fact that if you can get out, you can get in.
Yeah.
True.
I'm not much of a magician per se, but I've got to say that it's quite an achievement to be able to teleport us out of Ravenheim like that.
Yeah, but the guards saw, and they'll tell Dad, and he'll make sure it doesn't happen again.
He's shitting himself right now.
Aladrin kind of just smirks and shrugs and says, there are a lot of ways. Magic is a malleable thing. And she kind of just turns a bit and nods her head to the side. If you all would follow me this way. And as she starts to walk out, she'll turn over her shoulder and say, you are at the, I guess, headquarters. We don't really call it that most of the time, but the headquarters of the Quill Society. You are in the capital city of Al-Niat. And
I kind of look around me, like at the desert, and say, like, what continent are we on?
Taldori. And as she says that, she opens the door leading out to the main courtyard. As she does this, let's actually go to each of you as you're leaving this kind of spot in the main hall of this massive building overlooking the desert. Just really quickly, describe your characters and what your current state of mind is as you have been brought here. You are very, very far away from home. Now that she said that, you all know that you're on a different continent that you were on just a few moments ago. So let's just kind of go down the line and kind of see where everyone's at and what your suspicions are, or what your where your head's at. Morgan, tell us what you look like real quick and where your head's at.
I'm a 5 foot, probably like 6 turtle man, a turtle. I have moss covering the back of my shell, and I'm holding a staff that kind of comes to a bit of a curve at the top with moss hanging off of it. I'm a level 5 druid, or a Circle of the Dream druid, and I am extremely tired with 2 levels of exhaustion. Used a lot of spells already. I'm extremely suspicious because now we kind of had the tattoo, but it was like, well, maybe we don't have to use it. And now it's like, well, shit, we've kind of used their things, and it's made it more tangible that they have a hold on us. And so I'm very, very suspicious right now, very on guard.
Where's your you have a little rat or marmot of some type in your shell, don't you? Are they still with you?
Yes, so that's it's a little field mouse whose name is Hermit, and he lives in a little burrow kind of in the moss on my back, and he is my familiar. And I met him in the Feywild, and whenever he died, his kind of spirit magical essence became my familiar, and lives in the shell, in the moss.
Your little field mouse kind of runs up to your shoulder, just kind of looking at the new area and raising up on its just its hind legs with its little front legs kind of at its chest and just sniffing the air and kind of curling its nose a bit.
I kind of give it the side eye, out of the corner of my mouth, watching my back.
It nods and scurries through some of the tunnels it's dug for yourself in the dirt on your shell and goes out the back.
And by the way, as I'm walking through this, because I don't particularly want to advertise that I have this staff in case people want to identify it and know what it is. So since I'm able to kind of transform it a bit, how it looks and the way its shape, whenever I'm not holding it, I put it on my back on the moss, and it forms almost like a little bonsai tree beside the burrow that Hermit lives in.
You mean the staff that you stole?
No, that Yggdrasil gave to me.
It gave freely, not being coerced at all.
Exactly. It gave it to me.
After you were daydreaming under its branches, waiting for Small and Maximilian. As your little field mouse peeks out the back, it looks and sniffs the air and just watches Nero for a second, who's right behind you, Morgan, walking out behind you. So Nero, tell us what your Tony the Tiger big cat person looks like.
Nero is a 6'5", silver-furred Leonin, a lion. He's pretty young. He's around 19, 20 at this point of age. And when Nero first met the gang, he was very lanky, arguably underweight. Not the kind of build that you would expect from a large Leonin. He was rather on the skinny side. But I would say since he started adventuring in Ravenheim and Stormtalon, he might have put on a little bit more weight. So he's starting to fill out just a little bit. puberty is almost done, running rampant on his on his body, so he's just about there. Um, I think Nero has a couple things going through his mind as he's teleporting across continents to a new unfamiliar land after just leaving an unfamiliar land. Um, first and foremost is he's hoping that his letter that he sent to his father, Ark, uh, has arrived, and that maybe at some point he'll get a reply if he's ever on the same continent as the place where he sent the letter. Um, he thinks he did pretty dang good grabbing his 3 Toby Kadachi pups from the bestiary. You know, he really smooth talked his way through it all. Just kind of, honesty is the best policy. He managed to just lay things out as they were, and people around him seem to just get it. So yeah, I mean, I think he's just kind of taking it in stride at the moment. He's also wondering if Dora is here, his good friend Dora.
Yeah, the kind of fawn-like woman that you had seen whenever you all had initially joined the Quill Society. That you have talked to a couple times over the kind of conjoined mental network of the Quill Society. You could reach out to her
We're
if you
gonna be
want.
best friends. Yeah, I think Nero will 100% do that. He'll just be like, "Hey, Dora, guess who's in Tal'Dorei?"
Do you say that right now while you are walking out?
Yeah, mentally.
Dude, you're on the
100%.
group channel. We can all hear you.
Yeah, you send out Dora, guess who's in Tal'Dorei, and a couple of you see that Aladrin up front kind of looks over her shoulder and is smiling a bit, and everyone in line as you all are following her out the door kind of all all hear this as well. And a couple of moments later, over the kind of mental connection, you hear, "Oh, no way! Where you all at right now?"
Good question. We were just teleported in somehow. I see a desert, and what is the name of this city? What did she say? What did the nice lady say?
Over the mental network, Aladrin responds, "All Nilt, Dora, they are at the campus." And you hear Dora just kind of respond on this group line and say, "Oh, you all made it to the campus. Wonderful. Yeah, I was going to be there in a couple days. I could see you then. Stop in, see how you all liking it."
Sounds great. And I must say, I love your new accent.
She kind of
Like everyone on the group chat is like,
She kind of lies. "Yeah, sorry, I've been with a whole group. We've been on this this kind of expedition for a bit." And you hear a couple people over the connection go, "Yeah, she's been doing great with us here," and kind of all have this same kind of. You're not sure what the accent is, but it's probably Tal'Dorian origin of some way. But she's kind of laughs and says, "Yeah, I kind of picked it up from them."
Really immerse yourself in the culture. Right on.
But yeah, you follow Aldori with this flirting with Dora over this connection with however many 100 people can hear it.
so many groans, just all the time.
One of those
Nero is
groans,
being nothing but genuine.
nothing but genuine. One of those groans is from your companion immediately behind you, Dr. Johan. Dr. Johan, would you like to introduce yourself and what your thoughts are currently?
Dr. Johan is if you looked at him from a distance, you wouldn't even think he was a threat. He's a very small man, maybe 5'8", 5'9", and scrawny, surrounded in what look to be academic robes, but if you were to pull them back, and sometimes he has to when fights break out, you would see an amber sword strapped to his side next to a gun, on top of intricately layered leather and arcane metalwork armor that keeps him protected. He is probably spending most of this time just staring around the room, trying to take in all the details, any faces he can see from these absolute strangers.
Sure. You want to give me a investigation or perception check?
Yeah. 22.
Yeah. You see, honestly, what looks like just from the little area that you've walked in as you're following her down a set of staircase out to the front door. You pass a couple other people. There's people of all different nationalities and races and varying levels of battle ready. All of them look magic in some way. The Quill Society kind of specifically goes after those with a innate magical ability or some type of inclination towards that. So you see a lot of people studying. You see a couple what has to be wizards as they're kind of poring over some books on a lounge chair in one of the hallways. You see a classroom where someone's talking about some higher level magic and how to perform ritual castings of it. You are seeing lots of students effectively, or lots of wizards in the pursuit of arcane studies.
I think he's been listening to the entire conversation, I guess you could call it, with Dora, and just continuing to stare around the room, not really moving to follow anyone just yet. He'll probably follow behind the group a beat or two after what would be considered appropriate, as he is distracted and probably terrified right now, but is trying not to show it.
Yeah, you've I don't know, Dr. Johan, you've explored the region of Stormtown pretty extensively.
I would say that peninsula,
yeah,
I'm pretty comfortable with the general area, but more specifically, or more broadly rather, he's seen maps. He's imagined going places. This is the first time he's ever been somewhere completely new, and he knows it's the first time he's been somewhere he can't easily get home.
Yeah, I'd say probably the furthest away from home you've ever gone is maybe a trip to Port Damali as part of your job with the college and everything. Just heading down there.
Now I'm standing in the headquarters of an organization whose leader, or one of leaders, has expressed interest in taking the fancy Fey God sword I'm holding.
I'm not sure Dr. Fletchill expressed an interest in taking it, but maybe a curiosity that you had it.
Interest in it.
Yes.
Yes.
And he was very clearly familiar with it. So yeah, as Dr. Johan is kind of looking around the room and the door is closing behind, and you're following just kind of in the wake of everyone else taking your time to look around. Where is Small currently? And what are you doing, Small?
Small would be following right behind Dr. Johan. Small is a auto gnome, silver plated, with kind of like bronze outlines. Small is a auto gnome created by the chief artificer of Ravenheim, Maximilian. About 20 years ago he was created, but about 10 years ago a chaotic rift happened when an old adventuring party sealed, or I guess enveloped, the spirit of Oberon, and this chaotic force surged out. So he is a clockwork soul sorcerer with a little bit of cleric to help maybe control his chaotic side. Um, right now, Small is feeling elated. He just had a big fight with his dad, who told him he couldn't do something. He escaped and did it anyway because he feels like he's grown up enough to make his own choices. He wants to be an adventurer. His dad thought he should stay at home where he's safe. And even though he's a little sad that his friends are probably in trouble, he's way more excited about actually finally being on his own and getting to make his own choices. And I don't think the weight of that has really hit him yet. You do see a small figurine of wondrous power, a little mechanical owl that he calls Cog. Um, and Small is just happy to be here, having a good time. Like, has no fear of what these people are. They said they'd help. They did. He has no reason not to trust them. I mean, he's a little apprehensive that they marked him without his, really consent. He just kind of followed his friends into a library and swallowed into some memories and set a library on fire and then got soul marked.
As you do.
Perfectly normal things.
That's how everyone gets their soul mark, their first one.
But he feels like he has been an integral part of this team. He feels like that without him, a lot of people probably would be some sort of winter fey creature devouring humanoids right now. And he feels like he has made the absolute right decision.
So there is definitely a spring in Small's step as she kind of leads you through this entire complex here, and eventually leads the four of you all out the front door, where I will drop you all right now. And as she
How much
opens...
time did you take making a separate campus?
Enough. As you all walk out the front door of the kind of main building of the campus, as it was lovingly referred to, you see stretching out in front of you a massive complex, and it seems to be full of Quill Society members. You hear what sounds like some battle magic training off to your right somewhere. You hear a bustling of people and voices from what looks like a market area directly in front of you, and then on past a massive building, you see kind of sprawling off in the distance a huge city with large, peaked domes with points on them. Everything has this same kind of soft orange. All the building material and everything has that kind of soft orange, almost like clay look to it. But as you all are walking through the hallways of the interior and stuff like that, you notice that a lot of this, especially if you touch the walls or anything, feels like it's made of glass. It doesn't have the same like resonance or feel as stone does. And in some parts that, are traversed quite a lot, you can see that a lot of the orange coloring has kind of faded off, and you can see almost the area beneath it, as this is seemed like it's glass that has been either painted or colored into orange by years in the desert. But this entire campus and everything you're walking on, you very quickly get the feeling is actually all constructed through glass, with a massive capital city expanding out into the distance in front of you.
Can I just
Will you
do a
summon me?
general perception check? Nero is still
Looking for Dora.
Nero is still new place, kind of scary, but what can you do? But he's still gonna scope out. His training kind of kicks in, just potential escape routes or any place where he can get vertical in the surrounding area.
Yeah, I mean, there's
And also check on his pups.
yeah, there's a lot of spires all over the place, so there's a lot that you could go vertically, but it's it feels a lot more open for sure than Ravenheim was. Ravenheim has this massive canopying tree that kind of always makes it feel like you have a layer of protection over you. Here, just every direction besides where you're standing right now seems flat, and it kind of makes you feel a bit exposed. Even if you were to get someplace high, there's not much hiding you, and if you were to leave this place, there's not really anywhere to go.
It's all desert, right?
It's all desert.
Are the like walls, are they like translucent if they're made out of glass, or is it all opaque?
For the most part, it seems like it's been kind of like dyed or run down by sandstorms for however long this place has been. It's clearly long enough that the glass isn't smooth. It's rough and divoted, but still very strong. And seems like it just has this patina of wear over it from all of the sand it's been exposed to over the years. So there are parts of it that are particularly well worn that you can almost see like between levels of the building that you're in. But it's kind of a foggy, almost like bathroom glass where you just kind of see shapes moving beneath
Yeah,
you.
like frosted
Yeah.
glass. Can I do a perception check for other Leonins since I'm in a whole new continent?
Yeah, absolutely.
Ooh, that's an 11.
Nothing immediate in the area. Lanins are not common enough that you, especially with the limited, like you've seen maybe 25 people in the short time you've been here, but there is enough variety of people that it's not, it's not a pipe dream that there's other Lanins or anything like that. It's just nothing you've seen yet.
Got terrible news. There's no other Leonins here. Not a
Pat him on the
single
back.
one on this whole continent is what I feel it in my bones.
Aldra kind of
just
looks
got
over.
here.
Yeah, she looks over. She goes, "There's absolutely other Lanins. I don't. What are you talking about?" And
Oh,
as
no,
she
his instincts are never wrong.
Name one.
name one, well, there's She kind of thinks for a second, like, do I know any other Lanins? It's like, she's like, oh,
Exactly.
Diha is here. Yeah.
Deha.
Yes. She's examining her own biases.
Yeah. Yeah, how did
Okay.
I forget? Diha's here.
Well, maybe I'll give old Deha a shout soon enough.
Yes, whatever you'd like to do. First off, though, you all look tired. And as she leads you down the stairs, she kind of opens her arms a bit, kind of welcoming you to the area. She goes, "This is our central campus, like I said. You are being put up in this left dormitory here," and she points over to this building over here, which has people, kind of going in and out of it. Some people are on some of the
Oh, I'm
terraces.
sorry. Could you summon me again?
Yes, I can.
Didn't realize we were there already.
Yeah,
Oh.
I don't think he actually summoned anyone. I just found the map.
Oh shit!
Don't do that.
Many thanks.
Sweet.
This is very pretty, Dustin.
Oh my god!
Welcome,
Nice.
welcome to the
Wow.
campus, y'all.
Oh, that looks awesome.
My computer's
Ooh.
already screaming and it's not loaded it yet. Oh god.
Nice tower.
Oh.
So yes, the tower. I'll show you because I didn't know you all were in here. This room
wait.
right here was where you all spawned inside the tower, and she's been kind of leading you through just the couple levels to get down. You passed by the kind of practice field over here as you were starting to walk down these steps, and then she shows you that this is the dormitory she is taking you all to get you some rooms set up.
God, this place looks insane.
So yeah, you all are walking with Aladrin through the campus. A couple people like nod their heads to her or like check out your group, kind of just out of the corners of their eyes as they're going about their daily activities. You all are not standing out very much here, though. It's mostly that you all are walking with Professor Aladrin that anyone's paying you any mind. There's enough variety of people and outfits and races that you all do not really stand out here much at all. So it's really just
What
who
about-
you're with.
Except Nero as the only
Well,
Leonin.
I was gonna say, what about turtles? Am I getting
No
any
one
weird
seems
looks?
to
That'd be pretty
particularly look at you extra long, Morgren, as if they might have seen turtles before.
And what about robot people?
You do actually spot Small that at a couple of the entrances that you pass, there are suits of what look like armor that seem to be automatous. As you try to like inspect them and talk to them or say hi or anything, though, you
Hi, I'm small.
you very quickly discover that they just kind of stand looking imperious and staring into a like nondescript middle distance. Dr. Johann, as you pass with your kind of artificer goggles and everything just always on hand. You see that these are enchanted suits of armor and that they are set up with spellcraft. So they don't seem to be autonomous in that they are fully robotic or anything, mostly just held together through spell work.
More crude than Small, but not
by
so
a
terrible
measure,
in and of
yeah.
themselves.
Because
Yeah.
Small was originally just made to be purely mechanical. It ran on an arcane engine as a power source, but that power source just operated the workings of them. Small's consciousness is also very magical, but is a lot more complicated and is a much more intricately put together consciousness than what these suits of armors have.
So possibly something that would be technologically appropriate given a civilizational group of people that maybe didn't have a time-bending tree to work on whatever the fuck they wanted, whenever the fuck they wanted.
Clearly, yes.
More technologically appropriate to the rest of the world?
Yeah. Like, even from what you do know of the rest of the world, I mean, Ravenheim is an oddity. It's got
We have a train.
Yeah, you have a train, and you've got an artificer that's kind of gone mad with power and resources. So it is a incredibly technologically advanced. This place does seem advanced. Like there's spell works woven throughout. You see like as essentially delivery services operated by unseen servants are carrying stuff back and forth. There's these armor set up. There's different like windows set up in different shops that have views of places that aren't here. Like you see fields of grass and stuff like that. Like it's got a lot of spell work to make it stand out in just like convenience of life, but also that kind of aesthetic beauty that wizards seem to enjoy. But there's not nearly the infrastructure that Ravenheim has. That like if this place had Dispel Magic cast on it, everything would stop working. So
I'm gonna shift my gun, my holster on my belt, further back behind me into like my jacket and cloak. So, I mean, if there are people who make mechanical things here, I don't want to give anyone ideas.
yeah, for sure. You have a patent on this little gun that you made.
Goddamn right. Both of them.
So as Aldrin kind of leads you through the streets here towards the dormitory, she says, yes, like I was saying, Allnilt, the City of Glass, is right out the door there. I'd advise you stay on campus just for the time being. We'll kind of introduce you to everything and get you out of the city soon enough. But I believe Dr. Fletcher wanted to have a meeting with you all before you really took off anywhere. Nothing serious. It's actually for an expedition that we're wanting to put together that we think you all would be exceptional for.
Awesome.
I love this episode.
I've been looking for some more action.
Yes, well, we'll get you back in there as quickly as possible. But I advise the good doctor that you all could probably use a little bit to get acclimated here.
Were you seriously bored? We just nearly died on a mountain.
No, you just nearly died on a mountain. I was
Okay, no,
perfectly
fair,
fine.
but you were there.
Yes.
Nero stares into the middle distance. His internet connection is spotty.
We still hear you, Nero. So, but anyway, I guess we can wait for a second to see if he comes back. Okay, so you all are in front of this kind of dormitory with Aladrin. Someone approaches from the square. This other woman and her and Aladrin start talking a bit excitedly about a project that she's finishing up. It seems like this is a wizard that has just finished a big like a kind of thesis statement that they've been working on, and is kind of just talking about some of the things that they've discovered with Aladrin for a second while you all are looking around the area.
And I try to listen in. I'm looking for keywords, not like whole conversations, but like, what's the level of study here in a thesis
Sure.
project?
Give me a Arcana check.
23.
23, really good. You're able to pick up pretty quickly that this student has been making her own spell. And by her description of it, this seems like maybe like a 5th level spell. It's pretty big, and it seems like a spell work that is made to. It's kind of like a targeted dispel magic, but it's a bit more intricate than that. It seems like the spell work that she is crafting is used to kind of be able to unwind layers of magical, like different effects and stuff like that, for the purpose of moving them. So it's a dispel magic that lets her move certain aspects of a magical item onto something else without like disrupting it. So
Dope.
she's calling it, like, it's kind of like a onion spell work is what she keeps referring to it as, where she can remove a layer of a spell and apply it to something else. So a really big magical artifact, she could remove some of its effect to put it onto other things, or
Permanently or for a duration?
she's talking about wanting to do it permanently, and that's kind of the big thing she's been having problems with, that she's kind of discussing with Aldrin, who's giving her some pointers and some like pointing at like a notebook that she's showing her with like some specific runes that she's been writing and stuff like that. And Aldrin's kind of saying, "Oh, if you put an extra mark here, that might." And as they're kind of just talking quietly, her big idea is taking a lot of small magical artifacts and combining them all into a bigger one. Not only using it to unravel a big one, but to make a larger magical effect by taking a lot of smaller ones. So that's kind of her project thesis that she's kind of been working on. And it seems like some higher level magic, especially with the level of discussion that Aldrin and her are having about it.
Ooh, fuck. That's awesome.
It sounds like some of the work that some of your really advanced colleagues back at the college would be working on and stuff like that. Like, this is some things that, you know, Maximilian would have gotten involved with, like that kind of level spell work. But yeah, as she kind of shows her one last thing, she goes, "Oh yeah, I see what you mean. All right, I'll go test it." And she kind of runs back off, and Aldrin kind of waves as she kind of leaves, and then turns back to you and says, "All right, I have some things to do. You all can just go into your dormitory there. You should be able to find Tollett. He should be at the front desk somewhere. Just find Tollett, say that you're the group that Professor Aldrin had sent, and he'll get you a room set up."
What's he look like?
Oh, big fellow. He's got, gosh.
Everyone's big to me.
That's true, little one. And she kind of
By
gives you a
definition,
smile.
he is small.
Yes, that he is. No, he has dark black hair, kind of larger, shouldered. You'll recognize him. He's boisterous, and she kind of says it sufferingly. She's like,
Right. Thanks.
yeah, go meet with him. It's still pretty early in the day. If you all would like, just make yourself comfortable on the campus. Avail yourself to any of the amenities. You are full members of the Quill Society, so your lodging is, of course, provided. And there's places where you can get some food. If you'd like to partake in any of the training or audit any of the classes that are happening around, you are more than welcome to. But this evening, I will come and fetch you all here. And I believe Dr. Fletchill said we were all going to have dinner together over our discussion.
Thanks again for getting us out of there.
It is something we would do for any of our members. Not make you feel special, but we take care of
I'm
our
already special. I don't need any more. I'm okay. But I am curious, how much of the conversation did you hear? Do you only hear it when we think it, or do you hear everything all the time, always?
You know, that's a kind of a big question. Everything that you say kind of has to originate in your mind in a way. And if you think about it that way, your connection to the network is kind of always on, but in a magical sense, it's the directed will and purpose that really lets the message communicate out.
So it's kind of like everybody's always got like this background noise going on, but when you really focus it? You cut through the fog?
Essentially, yes. It would be incredibly difficult to pinpoint out that kind of background noise. Not that it isn't impossible, it's just not something we have really concerned ourselves with. We trust our members to communicate when they need to, and there's a lot of people with a lot of secrets in their research and stuff like that, so we try not to pry.
Insight check, and can I get Hermit to help me on that?
Sure. Go and give me an insight. And how is your field mouse helping you with this insight check?
He's sniffing the air and perking his ears up.
He whispers in your ear, I don't trust this bitch.
Yeah,
I can smell lies.
he can. Okay. Never mind then.
No.
Well, fine. I got a 9. Are you happy now?
She seems to be honest, yeah. Seems like she's telling the truth.
Which means she's lying.
You shouldn't listen to your field mouse.
Yeah,
My
that's on you,
character
man.
knows he rolled shit on his insight. He knows she's lying. All right.
Well, sounds good to me. I just wanted to leave, and you got me out, so I appreciate it.
Anytime. We will, discuss more about it later tonight at dinner. It was something that we were happy to provide for you, but I'm not going to lie and say it wasn't touch and go there for a moment. Your all's
Us too, yeah.
home. Yes, Storm Talon is a difficult nut to crack. Your father, in particular, Small, has set up quite the complex shielding around your all's old home. I hope you see this as your new home as you spend more time here. But
Does
it's
that mean we can't ever go back?
Oh, I wouldn't say you can't ever go back. You're more than welcome to if you'd like. I unfortunately,
Not right now.
yeah, and we don't have a very good way to get you directly back into the city. Getting things out is one thing. Getting things in is a bit more complex, in Stormtown in particular. But that is a conversation for another day. You all, please alleviate yourself of the amenities. Go into the dorm, talk to Talit. He will get you a room. Make yourselves at home. Explore if you would like. And I will see you back here in about 6-7 hours. How does that sound?
Sounds great.
Is our money good here? Like,
Do you have...
currency the
Gold is
same?
gold, Nero.
Aldrin kind of nods. Yes, gold is gold. You can always owe favors and stuff to... Everyone here on campus is your brothers and sisters. We are all members of the Quill Society. They have all undergone the same tests that you have. They all have the same mark as you have. This is the one place on any continent that you can be assured that everyone here is in their mutual best interests. They all are seeking the same thing, and that's knowledge. So please don't feel hesitant at all to talk to any of your other peers, as it were. Everyone here sees each other on equal footing for the most part.
I like to think Small and Johan instinctively think back to the training we've gotten growing up in Stormtalon from young ages. Don't offer favors to fucking anybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't, especially strangers. There's not a single favor you're going to take or give to a stranger.
I'm on that
Not
boat.
a goddamn one.
Don't you worry.
Oh yeah, you learned your lessons.
Yeah. I'm like, there's no fucking
firsthand,
way
but-
I'm giving favors to anybody.
Yeah, favors. Yeah.
Right. Well,
Money or nothing.
I'm off to find some food for me and the pups. If anybody wanted to come with,
I don't eat.
I'm
We
going
should stick together.
right you are.
for...
Yeah, I'll
Probably
be
should.
back soon. You all enjoy your stay. I'll come fetch you later. And she kind of turns and walks back
Bye.
off towards the main campus, waving goodbye to you all. As you walk up towards the tavern here, or the dormitory.
As we walk in, do I see a person that is tall, with black hair and boisterous?
You do. Right behind the main counter of this dormitory, you see a tall man. He's got kind of a wild look to him as he's kind of standing behind the counter, laughing very boisterously with a couple people who are at this kind of bar in front of him. They don't seem like they're drinking anything heavy, just kind of having a good time with some lunch. There's a couple other people in this kind of small cafeteria area. Some of them have like some books open and just seem to be passively drinking some very hot black liquid of some kind, while others are just snacking and eating with some of their friends. And as you all enter, the man behind the counter looks over and spreads his arms like, "Oh, friends, welcome, please, come, sit. And he kind of motions to a couple of the chairs at the bar and motions for some of the people to move over so you all can sit together. And he goes, I am Talit. Welcome to the dormitory. I am more than happy to get you anything you need. What do you need?"
I'm Small, and these are my friends. We're here because we were with Aladrin, and she said you could get us a room, and my friend Nero and his dog things are hungry, so they probably want food, and we're just trying to get a lay of the land. We're new here.
Yes, the new members. Yes, it's so good to see. Aladrin told me all about you. We have a room ready for you. Second floor. I will show you in a minute. First, eat, yes. And he kind of motions around. He turns and with a flick of his wrist, it seems he has some innate spellcasting kind of worked into this area as several plates and bottles and cups and food items start like moving from the shelves, kind of chopping themselves on a board, and a pan is kind of frying, motioning up into the air and spinning what looks like a type of rice, and this entire kind of Fantasia-esque orchestra of motion kind of breaks out behind the front bar of this place as he continues to talk very loudly towards the two people in the corner and looking over his shoulder at you also. Well, anything in particular you would like? I was in the middle of making one of my famous rice dishes.
I could go for a kebab.
Kebab. I have not heard that name in quite some time. His face goes a bit dark.
Oh, what happened, mate?
I would not talk
You
about
and
it
me
in mixed
too.
company. But, and he kind of spits over to the side. There will be no kebabs in my place.
Right, well, load up on the meat then, in whatever fashion that you prefer.
Yeah, there's a lamb skewer that you would totally like make a kebab out of in one corner that he just refuses to acknowledge it as something like that. And he just starts shredding a big plate of meat with an enchanted knife that's kind of moving through and slicing it while a plate is kind of hovering in the air. And he says, "Anything to drink? What can I get you?"
Water for me, thank you.
I don't eat or drink, so not to be rude on your hospitality, but I don't need it.
He turns slowly as all of the motion in the kitchen stops, and he looks at you, Small. And he kind of tilts his head. He goes, "No, I will feed you."
Okay, well, I think I can eat. I've never really tried.
We will figure something out. I will figure something out. He gets like incredibly serious about it, and the motion kind of just starts back up. And he says, "I just made a big fresh pot of choca. If you all would like."
Sounds good. What's that?
Oh, you will love choca. And he kind of motions, and there's this like bubbling, almost like witch's cauldron in one corner that a couple cups fly into and start grabbing this thick, viscous, kind of dark brown liquid into that's kind of steaming. And each of the cups kind of fly over to you all at the bar as a couple plates of food start to arrive. There's he seems like he's just going to let you all put together whatever kind of meal you want, but there's rice, there's what smells like a type of curry, there's chicken, there's lamb, there's beef, there's some root vegetables, there's a big plate of some tossed greens and stuff like that, but it's just kind of a smorgasbord of things that he's just always in the process of making.
I think Johann instinctively tries not to eat too much because he is wary of this place and these people, but will acknowledge that he does need to, and he'll go for the meats and the root vegetables as the highest source of calories he can obtain quickly.
I'm gonna take like a bowl of the mixed greens, like kind of like a salad,
You fucking would.
and I'm going to cast detect magic. I know it's gonna hurt my eyes because of all the shit going on here,
Sure.
but I'm gonna try to focus in on the food itself.
Yeah.
To see if I get anything on this.
You cast detect magic, and it is blinding. Like there is, like just behind the kitchen counter, like the amount of spell work that, and it seems like it's built, like it's all emanating from him. So these are all spells that he's like kind of been running congruently in a way that are kind of half absorbed. Like some of the spellcraft just over time has become a part of this kitchen from this man's presence in it for so long, and there's a lot of magic, but the food itself does not seem magical.
Okay, so I'm not getting any particular.
Correct. Do you all try the chaka?
I'll try the chaka. I don't know what that is.
I
watched Nero try the chocolate.
What's chaka look like? Can you describe it?
You try chaka, and essentially, this is like a hot chocolate, but a bit spicier with almost like a coffee or a caffeine kind of lingering after kick to it. But this seems like just a very thick, kind of syrupy hot chocolate with like a bit of almost like a cayenne pepper kick to it at the end.
Nero takes a sip.
It's really good.
This is the greatest beverage I've ever had.
I knew you'd love it. Chaka, everyone loves chaka.
I will not be drinking caffeine. I'm about to sleep for 2 days straight.
Did you make this? Did you invent this chaka?
No, it's a old family recipe. Back in my homelands in the mountains, it's we drink it all the time, but I have found a way to replicate it here.
You come
I think I'll
from
just go
a
ahead and drink some,
artisans and masters, I see.
Yeah, Dr. Yawn, it's super good. It's
I like to think that the caffeine won't affect him like a normal person because he has ADHD like I do. I'll sleep. It's fine.
You honestly kind of mellow out a bit weirdly.
Yeah, it helps.
Small.
Nero's not paying attention. I'm going to prestidigitate his to make it taste like what Small would think he had a hankering for on the mountains.
You
Which is-
better roll a stealth check, son. I got a pretty
No,
high passive
no, I
perception.
He doesn't even have to.
Subtle
No,
spell. I forgot.
Yeah, I said it. I used one of my
Sorcery points to summon. Sure.
subtly change his flavor.
There is nothing more small than that.
Yeah, you take one sip, put it down, you take another sip, and boy howdy does that kind of remind you of the taste of blood.
Yeah, Nero just goes up. Say, does this is a part of old Chaka's charm the way it changes flavor out of nowhere?
No.
Oh.
I set my mug down.
Small, he puts a cup of chaka in front of you, but it's only half full, and he goes beneath the counter and pulls out this like little flask of what looks like a type of oil, and he kind of mixes it half in with this chaka and stirs it a lot and scoots it towards you and gives you a wink, Small, and says, "That you can definitely eat that, for sure."
I drink it.
Yeah, you
Bye,
drink
Small.
it. Roll a Constitution
Die.
saving throw for me, Small.
You're gonna short circuit, bro.
Constitution, you say? I'm actually pretty good with Constitution saving throws. Generally. $16.
16 is not bad. As you're sitting there with your companions, like trying to drink something for the very first time, I think, Small, you feel like as this really warm liquid kind of goes down your throat in this kind of pipe that Maximilian had developed, like that kind of leads through. Yeah, it kind of makes you feel warm, and it's a weird sensation because you don't really have too much of a sense of temperature like most of the time. So it's more like as if all of your gears and motors were really spinning up a bit, but it's not like a frantic spinning up of all of your gears and stuff. It's more of like a all right, let's do this, kind of spinning up. And you feel the whatever he put in there kind of just makes your entire body feel like looser and stuff. I'm going to say for the next hour, you're going to have a +1 to your dexterity as he's kind of put an oil of alacrity mixed in with this chaka.
Awesome.
But yeah, you drain the cup, not only having like just being around other people and drinking and not being like seen as, you're not known here. There's no one trying to coddle you or anything like that. Like he's just trying to make sure all of his patrons have a drink, and he just sees you as another patron. And so there's that sense of like camaraderie that you're just kind of having a meal with people that you've never experienced before. And
This is awesome, guys. Why didn't you tell me this was so much fun?
I
Me
honestly
and my
assumed
belly.
you couldn't eat.
I did not know you had a throat.
I didn't know anything.
Does your
else
mouth
was
even
fun.
move when you talked? I've never really paid too close attention. I just assumed it does.
I mean, yes, I have fully autonomous working parts. Like Dad created me like a real boy.
How about you come on over? Let me take a close look at you. Oh
No.
my God, you're a robot.
Yes, Morgan.
I thought you just had a metal mask on this whole time.
No.
Tolik kind
I'm a
of
robot.
laughs very boisterously. Says, I've seen much larger ones of your kind before. You are not a... Oh, what are they called? I've heard it's a type of forged thing. Yes, you can... you are a robot of... Or what are they called?
Kinda, yeah. I've heard of Warforged, I think you mean, but Dad always called me an autonomous gnome, like an auto gnome.
Oh, so you are unique even amongst that type, huh?
Yes.
I am
I'm
unique
small.
too, my friend. You are amongst thousands of unique people here. You are most welcome in Allnet, and specifically in Talit's dormitory, yes.
What do you do for the society? Other than run the dormitory and make delicious food. Don't get me wrong.
I was a professor back in my day, but my classes
What did you
were...
teach?
it was a bit... and he kind of looks a bit shy, honestly, for a very boisterous man that seems very confident. He goes, I specifically culinary. I was a
That makes sense.
pioneer
Yeah.
amongst my people. There is certain spell work that can be done to boister people. I kind of broadened that a bit. So I work mostly with the society now to come up with interesting rations and stuff that can be used out in the field without having to expend magical energies, as it were.
That's really cool.
Nero kind of whispers over to Morgan, and he's like, "Did you see the way he looked when he talked about his culinary school? I feel like that's why he hates kebabs."
He turns around. Did someone say kebabs?
No, sir. Not a peep out of the lion or the turtle, no sir. Especially not the turtle.
Morgan is just so excruciatingly tired right now that he's actually kind of fallen asleep while eating the salad. Is just kind of dozing off. I don't know if I've heard about like 40% of, like 50% of what's been said. I look up at some point, like, you said we had rooms. Is that correct?
Tolik kind of nods, and the conversation continues as everyone else keeps eating, but you fall back asleep at one point, Morgan, and wake back up in Tolit's arms as he's carrying you up to the room.
I'm following behind you with a bowl of salad. Your bowl of salad.
I'm so mad that you all let this happen.
What?
Tolit just kind of like shushes you a bit. It's like, no, it
Look,
is
none of us can
okay.
pick you up.
It is okay, my friend. This is good.
Could have woke me up.
Morgan,
Right.
do your limbs retract into your shell when you're like asleep?
Yes.
So he's just like
He's carrying just a turtle shell up the
cradling you?
stairs. Yeah. After you all have had your fill of some food and some more conversation, you talk to some of the other students or Quill Society members that are kind of in the bar as well. Just kind of some casual conversation of where you all are from and where they're from, that kind of thing. And he leads you all up to the dormitory rooms on the second floor. And
they're gonna think what they're gonna think because Johann is as his charming normal self. Those conversations don't go great. He's barely speaks, asks a lot of probing questions for information, and does not offer any of his own.
And Small
You know
is
what?
like
I'm gonna go
the
ahead and
exact
take.
opposite.
I'm gonna go ahead and take a guess. That's probably most people here.
Yep.
It's
you
a
really
place
are
full
low
of
because
wizards.
while people are generally pretty nice and outgoing, they're also very secretive just because it seems like that's their natural state of being. They're just kind of secretive people. So nothing, it's all very straightforward conversations and very like, just, pleasantries more than anything. No one seems to be like particularly prying or anything. But you all are led up to your rooms, divided out into a couple different rooms up there.
Hold on,
Got my
Mister.
own
Trying
room.
to separate the party. DM.
They don't have a room
I'm
for
not-
all four of you.
Hey, guess what? I don't have to sleep on a bed. I'm not staying by myself.
Do you want to stay in the room with Nero then? Because
Yes, I
small. Okay,
Also, Nero might want to come over to my room. My room looks a lot bigger.
that's fair. So yeah, you all you don't have to go to. I mean, it's the middle of the day right now, and most of you didn't like. Actually, I think almost
I'm
all of you
already
didn't get like much sleep last night, so you might want to.
I am asleep.
I slept really good in a pile of mushrooms.
Johann's going for at least a power nap.
Yep, I full body in shell. The moss kind of grows and touches the ground around me, and I just go to sleep as Hermit keeps watch.
Sure.
And
Hey, Nero.
I'm done. I'm out.
If they're going to sleep, do you want to go find a place for dogs to stay? And then come back? Or do you want to wait?
I mean, they never said anything about the dogs not staying in here.
Nero.
Well, I know. He just normally puts them somewhere. Nero! Nero!
I think he's muted.
Second.
Yeah, well, the chaka suddenly tasting like blood really took it out of me, I think.
Pretty fucked up.
You were asking about about my pups.
I was more inquiring if you wanted to go and find a place for them to stay.
Are you saying you want to go adventure?
Yes.
Say less. And he jumps out of bed. And
Are you all
calls
going
the
to get
pups.
a short rest, or are you going as like you've set like
Yeah.
your bags and stuff
Short rest.
down
I'll take a
essentially?
short
Yeah,
rest.
short rest. Okay. Well, we will have everyone take a short rest except for Morgren, who's going to take a long. I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, I passed out. I'm done.
Okay.
Yeah, I go. If those two are fucking off, I'm gonna go hang out in this nice bed.
Okay.
I keep going to the top floor.
I'm going to roll a hit dice and activate my Bloodwell magic to regain my sorcery points.
Yeah, for sure. So the three of
Before
you.
Nero leaves, though, I tell him to do the same thing, like hide the gun.
Oh, do you want to hang on to it then?
Sure, that'll do.
Okay. Well, we'll say that the three of you get your short rest, and Morgren is still down for his long. Whenever you all are starting to leave and go out, where are you putting the guns?
Oh, they're just on my person.
Gotcha. You're just hiding them on you.
Yes, not like around the room.
Okay. Well, as you all,
So,
sorry. Sorry, go ahead.
Just to make sure. So like at the point before they leave, we do get a short rest.
You have
I
a
was
short
wondering
rest
if I could-
currently. Yes.
Okay. I was wondering if I could re-up my wild shapes and stuff like that.
But if you're taking a long rest, you don't get the benefits of both. So
Oh, okay. All right, that's fine.
if your long rest is interrupted, I'll give you a short rest. But right now, we'll say that
Yeah.
right now it's just nothing as you're trying to get that long rest in.
All right.
But we're going to, okay. So yeah, Dr. Johan and Morgren, you both are staying in the dormitory as Nero and Small start to head out, looking for a place to store the pups. Is that correct?
Yep, and just kind of generally exploring.
Yeah, we're just walking around. Nero will say to Small, honestly, they're so well trained at this point. I don't even know if I need to board them anywhere. They kind of just listen now. They follow my lead.
Yeah, I noticed you've gotten pretty close.
I say that as they're probably like crawling all over me.
They are, and that's getting more difficult. They're heavy. Like there are 3 of them, and they were very small pups. But that was almost 2 months ago now at this point, and they've been eating a lot. And this was like they had just been born, so they are growing like weeds right now. So it is getting harder to carry them on your person all the time without that being a whole thing. Like you're about to have to like start having a separate bag to have them in or something, because them just crawling on you hurts. Honestly, their claws are getting longer. Your back is just a like constellation of puncture marks where they will cling to you.
Tell you what, Small. Let's look for a little
Like a papoose?
like a papoose. You read my
Yeah.
mind exactly. Let's
Every
look for a
party needs a
papoose.
papoose.
Every party needs a papoose.
I think what every campaign I've ever played, we've ended up having a papoose.
Every campaign I've
For
played
some
with you,
reason.
I can guarantee yes.
Okay, Dr. Johan, what are you doing up at the dormitory while they're leaving?
Definitely go for the short rest. And then after that...
Yeah, I'll say the 3 of you went ahead and got your short rest. So all of you took like an hour to unpack and like get settled a bit.
Yeah, I unpacked nothing. And then my turtle friend is taking a nap, a longer nap as well. So I don't really leave, but I think I sit on the balcony and just observe. Just people watch.
Sure.
And try to remember, based on this map, which you pointed out again, what name of a city on this map? Because I know the names are different.
So we're using
what are we matching up with?
You are effectively matched up with Westron. So you're at the very center of Tal'Dorei right now, and the main difference is the dividing plains. Instead, on this area, and you would know just because you've seen maps of like the world and stuff like that, that you're at the very northern part of the Decayed Steppes. Which is a massive stretch in the middle of Tal'Dorei, which had been just plains and steppe area, just kind of the same area that Nero would have grown up in, but a long time ago it turned into a desert, and that's what this entire area is, and you're at the very northern part of that.
Okay.
Whenever you heard of Al-Nilt, the City of Glass, you kind of had a better idea in your head of where you were. You knew you were roughly in the center of Tal'Dorei.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, you just people watch a bit as these 2 head off.
Trying to catch any familiar faces or
Yeah, give me a perception check.
This will be good.
Don't forget to guide yourself.
Oh, he always forgets that. He's not wise. That's 12.
12. Okay. No one immediately familiar or anything like that. You don't spot like Aldrin or Dr. Fletchill or any of the recruits that you saw whenever you first joined. You have a near perfect photographic memory, so you would be able to pick out those faces, but you don't spot any of them. All relatively new faces.
Wonderful.
Then I'll relatively very
people
new.
Watch and keep an eye on Morgan, making sure he's good.
For sure.
You hear snoring echoing in my shell?
Have we found a papoose yet?
Well, where are you 2 headed to look for one?
Before we leave, hey, Talent, where can we go to find like supplies and stuff that we could buy, like a bag, or do you guys have a place for like pets to stay?
Talit, who was in the middle of telling a very animated story about his homeland to a couple of people, stops and looks over at you two and says, "Something like a papoose."
Exactly. Talon, we're on the same wavelength, brother. I can feel it. We're going to be best friends.
He looks a bit offended, like, I already assumed we were, honestly. You have drank
Well,
of
you
my
really
chaka.
just
We are
sealed
best friends, yes.
You know what? You're right. And you just doubly sealed the deal. We're best friends.
He kind of looks like he's about to start crying a little bit, but
Bring it in. Bring it in.
He like just scales the counter. He knocks over a couple plates of some of the people sitting there in his scramble to like slide across the counter. He picks you up, and he is a good 1.5 feet taller than you and built like a brick shit house. And he just lifts you into the air and squeezes you tight and says, "You are a very good member of the society, and I will die for you."
You know what? I think I feel the same way. Can we do like the predator handshake?
It's awkward as he's holding you up in the air, but yes.
Yeah.
It kind of ruins the mutual manly respect part of it when you're being held in another man's arms.
Oh, we're definitely picking each other up.
Sure.
Like, he loses momentum. I pick him. We're seesawing in a big bear hug.
Absolutely.
I hate how much you all are getting familiar with these people.
Why do you hate the Quill
Truly.
Society so much? They have only ever
Because
been
I'm
helpful.
on to you, Mr. DM.
What does
I'm
that
on
mean?
to you. I'm waiting for you to pull the rug out from under us.
Why
These people
would
turn out
I
to be
ever do
evil.
something like that?
Evil.
Anyway, yeah, you and Talit do the predator handshake, and he goes, "Yes, I know of such a place. If it is something unique, there is a hall," and he kind of points out one of the windows to a very close building nearby that looks like it is over here. He says, right over past the marketplace here. If you go down the big workshop on that far side, there is... I did a big AoE circle, yeah.
I see it now.
There is the Artificer Hall, where they train there. That might be a good spot. Also, if you go down the main street, and he kind of points to this area here, is where all of our expeditions have to take out from. That is our main supply depot and market area, as it were. Any of the citizens of Arnilt that require anything from the campus, that is where they would go to get it. So if you are not able to find it in the marketplace, then I'd say try the Artificers.
What I heard from you is that there's the potential for a magic papoose with the artificers. Did I hear you right, best friend?
He kind of cups your cheek in one hand and says, "Here anything is possible, my friend."
What a wondrous place. I never want to leave. Then I run out the door.
I'm coming. I'm small. I don't move as fast. Wait.
He kind of puts a hand on his hip and waves and says, "Goodbye, my best friend."
Until we meet again, best friend.
You just met your Speedwagon, my guy. This is best anime waifu that you're now best friends with.
Mojo's top 10 best anime waifus, Talon.
Talit. So yeah, are you all headed towards the like central marketplace first, or the Artificers workshop?
Artificers for sure.
All
We'll
right.
have to tell Dr. Johan. He'll probably he'll either be happy or really sad that he didn't get to come. Probably not that one. But we'll have to tell him, and maybe he can learn some stuff or teach some stuff, whichever he likes doing better.
I never really got the impression that he enjoys teaching.
Well, yeah, I would say that's probably true.
Nero knows me.
So yeah,
But
yeah.
just like learning.
Small
So
and Nero. I'll put you all. So to get down there without having to go over some buildings or stuff like that, you actually have to cut through that central marketplace area. But you can go along the outside of it if you're not wanting to go in to make your way
well,
straight.
since we're passing by, let's check it out, Nero.
Yeah.
I hate to
Why
just
not?
walk by stuff.
No,
We
for
could
sure.
find
New
something
place.
cool.
Could be something unique here.
I've never had to spend money before, so that'll be fun.
Whew. You know what? A part of me wanted to instantly judge that statement, but then I realized we didn't have money where I came from either. So,
Oh no, you misunderstood. Dad has lots of money. I just never had to buy stuff.
well, tomato, tomato. Am I right?
I guess.
Didn't have money. Didn't need to spend money. It's all the same.
Yeah, as you all start walking down that main staircase, you see on either side that there is a pretty bustling little marketplace. It seems like this is one of the ways that the Quill Society just kind of makes money is selling kind of run-in-the-mill magical artifacts for the most part. There's some that are, in display cases and stuff at certain parts of the hall, but there's a lot of different people from the Quill Society at different stalls and stuff as what looks like commoners and nobles alike, some adventurers, people in like armors that are kind of mismatched or have really unique hairstyles are shopping at some of these things. Just, the standard looking, this is someone who's going to go out and adventure or something like that. Type of people at different stalls collecting some stuff. There's, vendors of potions and you see that some of the vendors have like a stall that's just different types of magical arrows. There's a vendor for like magical weapons, but there's also, the standard adventuring equipment, including some bags of varying sizes and stuff like that at a stall that you can kind of see as you're going down this staircase. You're not reaching the main market yet. You're mostly just passing other Quill Society members that are heading down into the marketplace, because this kind of leads out towards the very front gate here. And as you all arrive at the front gate, you see out to the front that in this small like dividing section between where the Quill Society is and the main central city, there's a group of those kind of enchanted magical suits of armor, kind of just watching as people enter, making sure that none of them are carrying anything on them or anything like that. You all head down that left-hand side from that central staircase, passing by commoners that are going in and out of this marketplace. You all could divert here and head into the kind of campus's marketplace proper, or keep going down this way to get to the artificers.
I'm kind of just keeping an eye out as we're walking through this bizarre area for any sort of magical trinket that might bolster my defenses in some way.
There are for sure stalls that look like they are selling like armor and amulets and stuff like that.
I'm going to keep an eye out for any sort of, let's say, a ring that could make my defenses better.
You probably have to like go into the market if you're wanting to find something like that in particular. You're not really spawning. Like, it's kind of like looking down aisles of Walmart. Like, that product is probably there somewhere, but you'd have to go to some shelves and check it.
Small?
We got time.
Yeah.
I'll go with you. Are you looking for like? I think Dad called it a ring of protection.
Yeah. Maybe some sort of.
Those are pretty rare. I hope they have those here.
Maybe.
I mean,
it's a big place.
I would have said if any place would have it, it'd be Ravenheim, but I think this is a good close second.
I'm just hoping the prices are a little bit better here.
What is a good price?
Ooh, he jingles his coin purse, and he's like, "Ooh, maybe we can haggle him down to say 150 gold."
Wild haggling. That is a like 3,000 gold item. Like,
I've got a good feeling, Small. I think if we really put our minds to it, we could really get a good steal.
Sure.
Right.
I'm down.
Stealing is the appropriate adjective for how to get a ring of protection for 100 gold.
Nonsense. Some kind-hearted soul will be out there waiting and willing to give me a very nice magical item.
Yeah, you all walk into this marketplace area here, looking, heading back towards one of the ones up front are mostly like common items that you could tell were probably produced magically, so they're able to sell them quite a bit cheaper. It doesn't seem that the Quill Society and this campus in general kind of does the same thing that Ravenheim's university does. You know, a lot of the university workings, and since Maximilian is so involved with it and with the rest of the government and everything, that everything is kind of all collaborative. You know, any of the things that the university discovers are kind of just given to Stormtalon and Ravenheim, and anything that Maximilian and the council come up with is of benefit to the university as well. This seems like more of, we know how to do this cheaply, we're going to use it to make a profit, because it's not as tied to the government as the university is back there. So you see a lot of the common items and stuff that they're just, create food and water is very easy to cast. And so they're able to sell a lot of stuff that would be very rare, like some herbs and stuff, some fruits that can't be made or grown in this desert climate, that they're able to sell at a very cheap cost comparatively. But as you all move further back, you start to get to the more expensive and magical items. As you walk through here, Nero, even with your...
Find any potions?
There are some potions, yes. There's several stalls that seem to sell potions of different color and complexity. Some of them look very complex. But yeah, you can stop at any of those stalls. Nero, you see that behind a table, kind of talking to what looks like another adventurer or something like that. It's this person wearing this like leather vest, and they have like a sword on their back that's a bit too big, and they're just kind of bolstering and trying to haggle. You see a Leonin behind the stall that looks like a member of the Quill Society, trying to like not be impressed. Like he seems very bored with the conversation as this adventurer is trying to haggle him down on a weapon he's trying to buy. But the Leonin is just kind of standing there, not having it, with his arms crossed. Very big Leonin. He's got like very thick forearms. You see that there's multiple scars across his forearms that leave like patches without fur. He has a big scar down his left eye. His left eye is open, but seems to be foggy and white, as he also has a couple scars that have kind of removed some of the whiskers on the right side of his face. Almost looks like a burn mark. Very thick, full mane of fur, and it's all a kind of light gray, almost like a timber wolf fur that he seems to have. But he's just kind of talking with this customer and doesn't seem to notice you.
Oh, Nero, look! Another one of you!
Would I potentially recognize this Leonin?
Just based on his fur color, you know that you probably that you don't. Like that kind of Timberwolf pattern that he has is not one that you've ever seen before, or none of your people seem to particularly have. Like a lot of the people from your tribe are white or black furred, usually with some like stripes and some spots and stuff like that. But you've seen a couple people with some patches of gray fur, nothing ever as completely gray furred with like peaks of dark black that you see this other Leonin have.
Okay. Nero will patiently wait his turn and kind of edge Small closer to the counter, and I'll whisper to Small, "Right, I talked all that, but I'm not very good at haggling. I might need to rely on you, Small."
It doesn't seem like that Leonin has the ring you're looking for in particular. He seems like a weapons vendor.
I was just literally about to say, I think he sells weapons, but I'll ask.
It never hurts to ask, Small. Never forget that.
Okay, sure. Do you want me to just interrupt him? He kind of seems over this guy.
As you all walk closer to that counter and you all are talking and everything, he kind of looks over just because he sees more customers walking up, and he spots you, Nero. Um, he looks at you with like a really critical eye for a second, like his one good eye just kind of squinting a bit as he tilts his head, and you can see some of the hairs on the back of his neck kind of stand up, almost like a trepidation or something, like a should I be ready to fight? But as he kind of looks at you, he kind of you can watch his mental process be like, no, this isn't a threat. And then after another second, it's almost like he recognizes maybe the soul symbol, or that you're also a member of the society, or you're not sure what it is. But he seems to relax a bit and turn his attention back to the adventure and just kind of like silence the conversation with a wave of his hand and says, "It's 4,000, or I take it out of you if it is broken." And the adventurer like kind of rolls his eyes. He's like, "That's ridiculous. I can definitely bring it back in one piece. Just because the last one." And the lean and silences him again and says, "Just take it with the down payment and go." And the adventurer smiles real big and puts down a big bag of gold and takes a shield that has like an extra glint to it that seems to always be reflecting a sun even inside this building. And he hefts it onto his arm and goes, "Awesome. Yes, perfect. Thank you." And he kind of runs off, and the Leonin turns towards you two. And he looks you up and...
I'm small.
He looks over at you, Small, and kind of nods a bit and says, "Diha, who are you?"
And said this one was here. Sorry. We are new here. Just arrived to Al Nahit. And Nero, my friend here, is looking for, it doesn't really look like this is the kind of place that sells it, but he was looking for something a bit more protecty, like a ring, I guess. But if you had some other sort of like armor or protective measures that he could use, he's looking to make a purchase.
Nero will do like a, like a traditional monk bow from where he's from, and kind of like
that one that your father would have taught you, or...
yeah, we'll do that.
Okay. He's gonna
Nero
roll
Calesta
something.
Silvermane.
His eyebrows kind of raise as you say Silvermane, and he kind of unfolds his arms and leans forward on the table. He seems to largely ignore you for a second, Small, as he like is peering at Nero, and he says, "Did you say Silvermane?"
I did.
Like
Nero Silvermane,
Ark.
son of Ark Silvermane.
You see, he kind of snarls for a half second. And he says, "What do you want to buy?"
Well, like I said, we're looking for some protective things.
I have lots.
That
What
I
do
have
you need?
obviously been ignored. Well, I guess. Are you familiar with how people like him fight?
He sniffs the air with like another sneer and says, "Like a coward."
Oh,
Is that a dig at me or at Art? Can I insight check that?
Yeah, insight check.
19.
Maybe both. Like he clearly has some disdain for you or your father, one. But even without asking what type of fighting style you do, I think he has inferred from your monk-like bow that he does have some knowledge of the way you fight.
Well, that's kind of rude, seeing as you've never seen him fight, and I have, and it's not very cowardly. He tends to run up and punch stuff square in the face, all up in their business. I don't know if that's cowardly in your culture or not, but from where I'm from, not so much.
Well, he is letting someone else talk for him now, isn't he?
Mate, I
No.
see the way this conversation's going. And if you want my blade to talk for me, I'm willing to show you. What is this that you have against my father?
Just make your purchase and go. I'm not looking for an incident on campus. I'll find you.
Then I'll be waiting.
You know, Nero, I think the store up the way actually was a better place for us. I don't think this guy really wants our patronage.
You might be right, Small. Deha, was it? I guess I'll be seeing you.
You will, Silvermane.
And yeah, Nero just kind of looks this guy up and down, trying to size him up a little bit, and just kind of walks off with Small.
I subtly cast prestidigitation and make it seem like he soiled himself.
Jesus Christ.
Ugh, it kind of stinks in here. Let's go, Nero.
Right. And yeah, we take off.
You know, there's not really a cool way to handle soiling yourself. Like he just gotta, he gotta stay. He knows that some trick has been played or something, but he kind of just takes that as, oh, I'm gonna fucking kill that guy, and just kind of keeps staring at Nero as you all leave.
Holy shit!
He doesn't
Making
seem to
friends
like
in a
you.
new city.
He
Making
doesn't
somebody.
seem to like you, Nero.
Yeah.
You don't talk about your dad much. What did he do to him?
I don't know. Exactly. Does someone I know would like
Make
I
a
didn't
history
seem to
check.
know this Deha dude. 14.
14. You know, you don't know this. You've never seen this Leonin or even heard about him, but you know that your dad was accomplished was an accomplished adventurer. I mean, he during his time that he had left his tribe, he traveled all over the world and made friends and enemies in a lot of places. So you've heard a lot of your dad's stories, but never one particularly of anything he would have done to another Leonin.
I've never even heard of this Deha bloke, but I can tell you that my father spent his whole life adventuring, and he's never mentioned this dude. So I'm not sure what his beef is.
Yeah, as
Well,
you all walk off, you're going
If
to
he
one
comes
of the
for
other.
you,
Go
I
ahead.
got your back, bro.
Thanks, Small. Papoose time.
Papoose time!
Yeah, you all walk over to one of the other stalls that seem to carry different types of bags and quivers and things to carry stuff in. It's run by this what looks like a kind of haggard, a bit tired, but still overall a happy looking human man. That is behind the counter. He's kind of balding, just kind of has the kind of crown of hair around a bald head, with a big set of mutton chops on the side that kind of is every scrap of hair he could save on him. He has as he's going bald, but he is in the middle of what looks like sewing up damage to a bag that was brought to him. And as you all walk up, he kind of nods his head and gives you a grin and says, "Howdy, Quill Society members, right?"
I'm
That's
small.
right.
Small
Nero.
and Nero. Nice to meet you both. I'm Hazia. What can I do for you?
We're looking for magic bags that
My
can hold
best
these
friend-
dogs.
My best friend Tollett recommended this.
Oh, you
This
know Tollett,
location.
yeah. Good man, yeah. Looking for someone to hold, what now? And
The
as he
dogs.
said that, Fenrir kind of pops out of Nero's collar and like just looks around, then burrows back in really quick. He goes,
They're
"Oh,
getting pretty big, and we need to carry them.
yeah, I can see them moving around your body now that I actually look at it." You can see it's like a giant, like almost like a weasel sized thing moves across your torso, Nero, like very clearly
Yep.
outlined under your robes.
When they're still, do I just look bloated and lumpy?
Kind of,
Moving
yeah.
around the room.
If they're riding on you, yes. Most of them
Yeah,
seem
they-
to
they
like
all
to
get-
sleep around your belt line, so it looks like you're just kind of like a muffined up, like.
They're getting pretty big, and you know,
Oh yeah.
as much as I love having,
Yeah. I get what you're saying. Well, I don't think anything extra dimensional would work for that. They need to be able to breathe, I assume, right? So let's think.
Preferably.
yeah, fair assumption, I'd say. I can see you're a veteran.
He laughs and kind of looks around some of his stock. He has like a shelf with a bunch of different styles of bags, like some that looks like they're meant to also work as scabbards, some that can hold camping supplies a bit better, bows, and just a big variety of them. He says, "Oh, yeah, maybe this one," and he pulls one off. It looks like it was designed to hold maybe a large dog or something like that on a back. And he says, we originally did this for Figurina Wondrous Power that someone had that it had broken in some way and couldn't turn back, but they didn't want to leave it. So maybe we could do this and just modify it a bit. And he kind of sizes it up to you. Could you put that on real quick and let me just see how it fits?
Absolutely. And I put the papoose on.
Yeah, it sits kind of comfortably on your back. It seems like it's using your hips more than anything to carry the weight. It's got like a little brace on the back of it that if any of the pups move, it's put directly on your hips instead of on your shoulders. And then it's got the straps coming out the middle with like a strap that kind of goes around the front. He says, "Yeah, that looks like a pretty good fit. Sure, I should be able to modify that a bit. It'll take me a couple hours though. Is that all right?"
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
We'll be around.
With the modifications and everything, and you all both being members of the society, I could probably do that all said and done for like 50 gold pieces.
Nero mulls that over, and he
Is that really the best price you can do? Surely it's not that much work, right?
Well, it was just a custom made piece. It prevents them from getting too hot or too cold on the inside. It's insulated. It's got an interior of some dragon leather in there. The actual bag put together was pretty expensive, but we might be able to do a bit better. Give me a persuasion check if you want to try to haggle.
Yeah, hold on 1 second. My
can
wife
I
is calling.
give the help action as I'm like agonizing over this price
Yeah, sure.
visibly.
How do you give the help action? What are you doing to try to convince them to lower the price?
By acting like I'm like really torn whether I want to spend that 50 gold or not. I'm just like, ooh, 50 gold. Well, let me just. He just starts mumbling to himself, like, well, if I shift around these expenses this month, I might be able to squeeze that out. But if something happens, ooh, there's no telling. I'm just kind of mumbling that shit under my breath.
Yeah, sure. He does seem to take a bit of pity on you for that.
Do I have advantage?
Yeah, you do. Go ahead and
Think
roll with
so,
advantage.
yeah.
Uh, 19.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. He goes, oh gosh. Yeah, I could probably do the modifications on it for free. That's not, I mean, you all are new around here. I've not seen you at least, so relatively new members
We just
of
got
the
here.
Quill Society. Yeah. And you're friends with Talit, and Talit's given me a couple free meals, so I'd say that's pretty even. Sure, let me drop it to, how's 25 sound?
Sounds
I'm gonna
great.
shake out my hand.
He'll
I'll also shake his hand.
yeah, he'll reach out and shake both your all's hands with a little smile and says, "All right, well, I mean, covers materials and stuff at least, and just tell Tollett that me and him are even, please. Yeah.
I think I'll do more than that, mate. I'll definitely make sure that he knows that you gave me a great deal and you were wonderful to work with. And I bet you've got some more free meals coming your way.
Yes. If I don't have a glass
Maybe
of
some
chocolate
chocolate,
a day, yeah. If I don't have a glass a day, I actually am a miserable person. So
I can believe it. I just
he
tried
seems
it
to
for
be
the first
drinking
time
from
in my
a
life.
thermos of chocolate.
Chocolate.
Oh, smart. Very
He
smart.
kind of inclines it to you. He goes, "Yep, gotta have my fix."
What did you say this shopkeep's name was?
Hizar, Hizir.
Thank you.
Yep. He says, "Yeah, come back in like 2 or 3 hours. I'm finishing up this other one, and then I'll get to work on that. Shouldn't be too bad."
Oh, I'll give him the 25 gold.
Yeah.
And yeah.
He'll take it. All right, appreciate it. See you in a little bit.
Hey, nice to meet you.
All right, where you all headed?
Well,
I
Small,
wanna
is there any
go-
place else that you
Y-
wanted to
uh,
look at? Or?
Yeah, I wanted to look around for some specialty potions, see what they got.
It might also not be a bad idea to just kind of figure out a little bit more about where we're at, like the surrounding ecology or fauna, flora. I mean, we're in a desert. How far does this desert go?
Uh, Probably pretty big. Deserts are usually large expanses, right?
Well, I would say so, but if we had to survive in the desert, how would we do it?
Magic, I think.
Magic.
Uh,
It seems like the easy way out sometimes, doesn't it?
I don't know any other way.
you all
Well,
are.
stick with me, Small, and I'll be teaching you some ways.
Okay.
You all are having this conversation as you walk amongst the different stalls and stuff like that, looking around for a specialty potion seller. And as you get to the other side of this market area, you see like there's a small like cafeteria place where some of that food is put together. But over to one of the sides of that cafeteria is a potion seller. Seems like it's a cart that has like a couple different ones. It has what looks like a party pack almost of healing potions that they're selling to people that are heading out, but also some specialty ones. It's kind of set up almost like a little ice cream stand, but for potions. Like it's kind of at the edge of this kind of cafeteria area, almost like a before you leave, don't forget this type thing at the end of a or whenever you're at a checkout for an area, and you see a kind of cheerful looking halfling woman behind the counter of it.
Fair potion seller. What would be your strongest potion, would you say?
She smiles cheerfully and kind of bobs on the stool that she's on. Oh, strongest potion. It depends on what you want to do. I got, plenty. I've got this one, and she kind of rummages through a like little metal container and pulls out this kind of bright yellow potion. It says, "This right here, give you the strength of a hill giant. It will." She goes. She puts that one back and looks for another one. This one here will make you a lot quicker. This one here will make it so you're a bit sharper, keener of mind. Let's see what this one here can help if you're feeling very tired. This one here, and she's like kind of just going through and rummaging and listing like a lot of ones with a lot of different effects.
Hi, by the way, I'm Small, and I was wondering if you had um a potion that could make you fly.
Yeah, actually I do. And she pulls out, it's a very thin bottle with kind of a bulbous end on one, almost like a long teardrop, full of like a very light blue, kind of very light looking liquid that twirls around in the bottle very easily. She goes, yeah, I've got 4 or 5 of these.
How much are they?
Let's see. Society members, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
we just got here. We're new.
Oh, welcome to the campus. I'm Gol. Nice to meet you all.
Nice to meet you, Gall.
Yeah, pleasure is mine. Let's see, for a potion of flying, usually these run about...
Or even like a gaseous form, just something
Oh,
that
sure,
would allow
sure, yeah.
for getting away.
Uh,
If you have both, I'll consider both.
yeah, this
know.
one for flying is usually runs about 500 your society members, so I could probably do like 400 for gaseous form. She kind of starts digging through all of her
What does
different
Goal
things.
look like? Said she's a half elf.
She's a halfling, so it's a small halfling. She's got like this white shirt with like a set of suspenders kind of over it. It's puffy on the end, sticking out. She's got bright blonde hair, kind of a big mess of it that's kind of done up in buns that are a bit loose. Looks like she's got like hands that she's been working with a long time. Like they have a bit of calluses, but overall very well put together. She just seems kind of like a bit of a manic, very happy, but very good at her job. Kind of well put together for what she's doing. She pulls out, oh, I've got one of those. Looks like about 300 is what I was selling it for. So for Quill Society member, we'd call that like 150.
Oh man. Okay. Well, at least I know it's here. I don't really have a lot of money right now.
How much do you have, Small?
Well, I just don't really have a lot. I've once again, Nero, I've never really had to, you know, I didn't grow up with the understanding of cost and things.
Well, yeah, but we've taken on a few jobs, and Storm Talon, you've got to have a little bit on your person, right?
I have some, yeah.
I can float you the difference.
She's here. You know what? You're both new, right? And gaseous form is not something I usually sell a lot of anyway. This one's on me, covering it completely.
Are you sure?
Yeah, absolutely. And she kind of just hands it over to you. She's like, this one's absolutely. Remember me whenever you all are big and famous in the society and you need anything. Okay.
It's incredibly kind of you.
I cannot take something free of charge. How about I just give you 100 gold pieces?
Nope, it's yours. Take it.
Damn you.
Seriously, no,
Okay,
no. This isn't a buy. Like I know we're all kind of magically inclined here. With this, this isn't. This is a gift I am giving you free of will, without the expectation of something in return.
Deal.
And
But
she
I'll remember you.
nods
and-
really
and
with a big smile.
I will return the favor or the gift. I will gift you something in return.
Are you sure you're not an alchemist? Because you've got a heart of gold.
She kind of laughs at that. I actually am one, but that's a really good line, honestly. I've not heard that one before. You two are you staying at Tollett's dormitory?
We are.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
my
awesome.
best friend, as it turns out.
He's a lot of people's best friends, if you believe it or not.
You know, I think his heart is big enough for everyone to be his best friend. I hope to be like him one day.
Don't we all? Well, welcome to the campus, you two. Have a good time while you're here. We're going to make sure you both are taken care of. But come back, and if you need anything at all, let me know, right?
Absolutely.
If you're ever at the tavern, I'd love to hear about your potion making skills and what really got you into the business. It seems you've really got.
Oh, I could talk for hours, love. Yeah, absolutely.
Love to hear it.
I'll see you all there then.
Keep it in your pants, man. Jeez.
Nero is making friends. All right.
Think about Dora, my guy. Think about Dora.
Dora and
I'll
Gaul are
try,
here
man.
on the same night.
Oh, wow.
She comes over the intercom. Like, what y'all doing?
That's really all I wanted. I know where to come and buy potions now. So thanks. I'll be seeing you.
She
I'll
gives
make
you
sure Toilet has a fresh choco ready for you.
Ooh, now you're talking my language. I will see you both soon, hopefully. All right.
Thank you so much.
Where are you
Now
both
I'll
headed
go.
now?
As we get out, I kind of like nudge him and say, I may not know about money, but I do know how to haggle, and you can't just be like, I don't have a lot of money, and then tell him how much money you have.
I didn't. I just said I could float you some gold.
Yes, but that wasn't the point. I had the money to buy it. I was trying. Never mind. Thank you for your help.
Genuinely, I had no idea.
Yes,
I just thought I'd be trying to help you. I'm sorry.
As wise as you are, you seem to lack some subtlety.
If I didn't have
It's
to
okay.
kill with my fists, I'd kill with kindness, Small.
Well, maybe you'll learn a thing or two hanging out with me, just like I'll learn with you.
Now that sounds like a deal.
Nero standing there with a large lion man with a samurai sword and 3 moving lumps circling around his body. Like, subtlety, I'm the master of it.
We should probably go back and see Dr. Johann and Morgan. Don't want to keep them waiting and worry them.
Right.
I'd hate to have another situation where, we have to run away again.
Real quick. The person we just talked to, that was Gull?
Gull.
And the other person was, did I write that down? I didn't. What was the artificer's name?
The bag person?
Yeah,
the bag seller was Hazir.
Hazir.
Hizir.
Hazir.
And then
Hazir and Gull.
the potion seller Gul, Gul.
Gull. Okay.
Gira.
Okay. Yeah, as soon as I get back in to the inn, I'll make sure to call to Tollett and say, best friend, I had the most intriguing adventure out into the city. A potion crafter by the name of Gull and a papoose maker by the name of Hazir treated me wonderfully. I just wanted to let you know that they both seem to be acquaintances of yours, and I just wanted to let you know that they're right good people.
Hazir said you're even now.
As you walk into the tavern, Tollett isn't at the front there, but you call his name and you hear a crashing sound from somewhere deeper in the dormitory, and then busting through one of the doors with a kick, Tollett goes, "Best friend Nero!" And he walks up to you. It's been like an hour and a half. He walks up and clasps your arm and goes, "You met some of my friends, yes? Zia and Gol, both? Oh, some of the best people on all of the world. Everyone I meet in Tal'Dorei, they all talk, and they all know Hazir and Gol, ace people, 100%.
They did right by me, Tollett. I just wanted to let you know. You keep good company.
We are all the same family here at the Society, my friend. Everyone here is good people, and they are all friends of Talit. And now you are too.
I don't know if that's true. Dira seemed like he wanted to kill Nero on sight.
Yeah, Diha, another Leonin by the name of Diha, was very.
Diha.
He did.
Diha has all bark and no bite. He has threatened my life several times, and he means it in jest, I am sure.
He seemed to be particularly begrudged against my father. He seemed to know him.
I have no idea who your father is or why he would feel that way.
Neither do I. I of course know my father, but I have no idea why he'd feel that way. But if I didn't say my full name, my name is Nero Calesta Silvermane. Best friend, Tollett.
Silvermane, yes, that is a strong name, family name. I am Tollett Anika Sunapikala Kusanaba.
You're gonna have to write that down for us, friend.
I will not.
Then I will continue to ask your name until I have it memorized, because you deserve that much, best friend.
He looks at you affectionately and takes your hands. He puts his hands on either side of your face and makes a really close eye contact. He goes, "We will be cherished friends for all of our lives, my friend."
The best of friends. And then we hug.
Yeah, you all hug.
A little bit longer than anyone expects.
There's at least 8 or 9 like heavy pats on the back, like get in there. Yes, get in there.
Oh.
But yeah, you finish hugging Toilet, and he sees another person walk in. He goes, "Best friend!" He like walks up to this other person that walks in and starts.
Nero's a little hurt by
What
that.
is-
But he's gonna try not to show it.
What is happening? Jesus Christ.
And then you all walk up to the second floor and enter the room with Dr. Johan, who's been on the balcony, just kind of people watching.
Dr. Johan.
I watched you come in.
Do you
Um,
believe Tullet already has another best friend?
Nero, I think he's just that way with everyone.
Well, you know,
He has what they call
it's
a
called best
Broadway
friends for a
personality.
reason. That's all I'm saying.
I'm sure your friendship means a lot to him. Don't worry.
You just picture that lingering time he held your gaze so close. He has bright gray eyes with flecks of blue in them. And they just spoke and said, "We are best friends to your soul."
I just truly believe we're best friends, but I don't know. Can one man really have that many best friends? It's
Yeah,
just
I
it'll
have
kill
lots of
me.
friends.
But that many best friends, can you imagine?
It's kind of like having
I
a
don't know.
child. Your heart just expands, you know? It's not.
I find it remarkable people have more than 2 to 3 friends.
That's what I'm saying, Dr. Johan. How could you have that many best friends?
Dr.
Ooh.
Johan's like, "I don't even consider you 3 friends."
I could theoretically understand having multiple best friends, but I don't understand having the energy to maintain it.
Well, on that note, so I did a bad, and I'm not super happy about it. I accepted a gift, and I tried to not, and she was insistent. So I have to find a way to pay back a potion maker before I owe them something.
This is very dire.
But look what I got, and I shake my potion at him.
And I ordered a papoose.
What's that?
Gaseous
I
form.
love a papoose. Oh,
Yeah, I figured it might help.
that could very well be helpful. So have we stopped to think that we are now trapped in a desert on another continent?
Oh, absolutely. I was bringing this up to
Escaping-
Small earlier. We should probably figure out, what the surrounding area is like.
I went to
and
sleep
how
to not
survive.
have just that existential dread
Well,
take me over.
so happy you are awake now.
I'm not.
Damn
that
it,
was
but
just
you spoke.
out of my character talking.
So I sit on Morgan's shell and I go, so we're in... we did escape one situation back at home.
Hermit is like pushing your butt, trying to scoot you off my shell.
Hi.
He's my protector as I sleep.
Ignore it. Pop up my owl, and the owl
You
and the mouse
ass.
stare down. But we're now in a desert. Have you ever seen the best designed prisons with no real walls? The ones that you can just leave, and the surrounding area will kill you.
Well,
Yeah,
Nero mentioned something about that, and I told him we would just survive with magic. Morgan can make food and water, and I don't eat or drink, and we have shelter that we can make.
Yes, but that's
So-
honestly my worry. This is a city full of people who could also do that. I have to assume something else is out there. I just worry.
You worry too much, Dr. Johan. We're on an
I
adventure.
worry the appropriate amount for someone with my mental health issues.
I'm-
I
As
just,
an equally traumatized person, Dr. Johan, I agree.
I just think that, look, I'm very happy to have escaped the law in Stormtalon. I'm less excited to be here now.
Yeah, I am kind of. I don't know, cause I don't know. Did we like them or do we not like them? We were kind of upset that we were forced into their society, but now we're kind of like, hey, we're here.
I'm just very wary of what they want with certain, or what their interest is in certain magic items and certain
Well,
higher entities we've learned about.
we're definitely gonna have to explain to Dr. Fletchhill how we took his sword that he stabbed into the statue. Like he knows that he did that, and I'm pretty sure he knows that we undid that because you now
Oh
have his
yeah,
sword.
he's seen me with it. We had a quick chat back there, and I don't really want to. I don't. I don't know. Obviously, Small, you know, I want to know every fucking thing. I don't know that I want to learn it from him because I feel like that leaves expectation.
Probably, but
Perhaps.
he might know Edris, and weren't you curious about like you and Morgan had a thing with
Morbidly,
the
yes,
sleeping god of deep darkness?
yes.
Here's an idea. Um, we're here, and at the moment, there's nothing we can do about that particularly. I reckon maybe we should try and blend in a little bit, kind of really immerse us in surroundings, take a few jobs.
Figure out what's going on, and then
Yeah, as
see
we're
what we need to
earning
do from
some
there.
money. Yeah, absolutely. And then, presumably we'll be able to go out into the desert for whatever quests. So we'll be able to learn about the area, the creatures there.
What if they want us to find another one of those swords?
Well, that's kind of what we wanted to do, anyways, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Well, to learn about them, yes, but I don't. Mm.
We're definitely outside the protection of Storm Talon, but I'm not sure how good that protection was against this particular group. Everyone's
well,
super nice. It's like the
yeah,
good with the bad.
maybe we were wrong. We didn't really know what was going on in the temple. We just kind of saw shadows of it, and I mean, yeah, the big golem thing was kind of
The
messed up.
torture?
Yeah, but
Yes, you see,
maybe they deserved it.
the torch?
I mean, I'm just trying to make the
I
most of it, Dr. Johan.
On one hand, I respect your hope. Um, we should talk about some. I can't believe I'm the person to say this. We should talk about moral things one day in that regard. But um, I just can't trust a man that created. He created a spell, and it is one of the most painful. I would describe as war crime things that I've ever heard, outside of simply wishing someone did not exist. Because at least that's quick. Fletchill is a fucking. At least has the potential to be a fucking monster.
Well, then good thing we're here and we can take it down from the inside.
Yeah, we can try. Yeah.
Well, as you said, we're kind of stuck here, I guess.
We are here, for sure.
Then I say we make them as many best friends as we can and all try to live up to Tollett's example while we're here. Also, 2 friends today, 3 if you count Tollett, and
One
1
that wants
enemy.
to kill you.
Yeah, somebody wants to kill me.
Well, that's rude. What did
Yeah, he seems to hate my father for some reason. Never heard of him. But yeah.
Huh.
So pretty good odds, overall. Pretty good average of friends to enemies ratio.
Yeah, I
Dustin, I think
just
we're just gonna wait here. By the way,
stared at everybody.
I didn't have anything else I wanted to do. Sorry, I didn't mean to
Yeah, I
talk
just
over you.
wanted to. I would say I'm gonna hang out for a couple hours until the bag is ready, and then I'll pick that up.
Since you mentioned a potion seller, I would go with you, back out when you go for the bag though. I'm looking to
I'll stay
buy
with Morgan.
something. Well, one thing in particular, but multiple of them.
Right. Well, couple hours, maybe have a couple chacas, and then we'll head on out.
Didn't you say that tasted like blood?
It did, but before it tasted like blood, it was like a dream, Dr. Johann. You have no idea.
Oh no, I tasted it. I just stopped drinking it when you spit it out and said that tastes like blood.
Oh, well, I didn't spit. I just happened to,
Mm.
you know.
Because it looked like spit.
Well, I tried really hard not to.
Dribble maybe.
A little bit of dribble, a little dribblage. I feel like chaca and dribblage kind of goes together. It just feels right. Not the blood pot, though. Anyways, I'm gonna have some chaca.
Yeah, and I'm looking to purchase Alchemist's Fire. If there are any vials available.
Sure. So
I'll
you're
stay
going
with
to
Morgan. It's been an hour, so my dexterity's gone back down, right?
correct.
Okay.
So yeah,
I
Nero
figure, before we
and
walk in, I clarify that, like, Nero, you've made friends with this person, yes? Good deals, yes?
With Gull, she obviously gave away a potion with
Good point.
seemingly no strings attached.
Wonderful.
But she was selling. She was going to sell a potion of gaseous form, I believe, for 150 gold, and I believe a potion of flying for 400 gold. If that gives you any sort of context.
I think it would. I think Johan would be fairly aware of the prices of things.
yeah, sure. You've
Not
done
to get
enough.
really forced,
You've done
but-
enough expense reports for like expeditions and stuff that you've been on for the university that you know roughly the going market value of stuff, even for the lower prices of Storm Talon.
Okay.
And those prices were a bit below because of the discount for being members of the society. Were a bit below going market value.
But yeah, I'll introduce myself and look for Alchemist's Fire if available.
Yeah, for sure. Gall is ecstatic that you've already brought back a customer. She goes, you know, I knew that investment would pay off. Just showing a bit of kindness usually goes a long way. I absolutely have Alchemist Fire for you. Hold on one second, and she dips down and she pulls out these vials. It looks like this thick, almost tarry, kind of green liquid in some flasks. And she says, here you are. I have 4 of them. Usually they're about 50. You're a member of the society, so 30 gold pieces a pop. How many would you like?
I will take all 4.
Righto. And she just hands you the entire crate. And she goes, there you go. So that would be 120 gold pieces, please.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Isn't she just the best, Dr. Johann?
She kind of like blows a hand at you. Goes, oh, come on.
What a desert flower. I love it.
Have a lovely day.
You too. Have a good one. You all leave her and walk over to Hazir, who sees you walking up near you. Oh, hey, yeah, got this finished for you. And he turns around and pulls out a papoose for your for your little Tobies. It has like a hole. It kind of looks like a papoose for a small Cerberus because it has 3 small holes that they can like stick their upper bodies out of, and some like netting vents on the side of it so they have airflow, but those can be like zipped up so they can be kept warm if you need to. But it's got like that a big pouch area, so if all 3 of them were to sleep, they wouldn't be like entirely on top of each other. But also room for them to grow. That like might lock them into like a vertical position against your back if they get too big. But this is at least big enough for 6 months or so of growing.
I'm gonna have the pups get down on the ground, and I'm gonna kind of bounce and get to their level and just be like, magic papoose, and get them hyped up and open the bag so they jump in.
Yeah, Fenrir starts like trying to bite at your fingers as as Sylph just kind of like starts getting low and wagging her big, thick, almost crocodile-like tail, and they they all jump into the bag very quickly. Ifrit kind of goes to sleep at the bottom, but both Fenrir and Sylph are up at the top looking around and just kind of excitedly, like their eyelids kind of click the double set of eyes that they have, and they keep tasting the air with their long, almost snake-like tongues.
I give them a little kiss on the head. They deserve that much.
Nero, you're having a great time, and I'm going to have to really hurt you soon. You know that, right? This is too much love that you're putting out right now. Goes against everything in my DM soul to let that continue for too long.
I'm waiting for the bar owner to be just like a incredible racist or something. Just be a whole.
Jeez.
He's all of a sudden just like, yeah, but I really hate those elves. Just be like, whoa.
What's your passive perception, Nero? And
16.
Dr. Johan?
And
Okay, then neither of you spot. So as you leave the marketplace and are like walking out of that shaded area, you get a couple steps up when you hear like a click of something. You look around and you see that Diha had been standing like right at that corner where you had exited and had been like less than 2 feet away from you, Nero. But he's like turned his back and started heading back into the market, clicking like a little knife in his teeth as if he's cleaning them.
I'm going to immediately stealth.
Okay, roll a stealth check.
What was that?
Oh,
Oh,
fuck. That's a 12. Well,
What are you trying to do? You still are trying it, whatever you're doing.
so immediately I would have gone behind a corner, and then gauge his reaction, either seeing if like an ear twitches or anything that he was alerted presence or lack thereof.
Yeah, as you quickly like turn around and try to dodge and get behind a pillar as he's walking down this staircase, you kind of lose sight of him for just a second. As you're moving and putting your back against it and then turning the corner, trying to look at him. And as you turn the corner to try to look and see where he went, there's a sinking, like a shink. And you see that right beside your face, like a couple inches away, embedded in some of the like glass wall, is that dagger that he'd been picking his teeth with.
I'll pocket the dagger.
Yeah, you take it. Seems to be just a relatively simple steel dagger.
I like to think that 12 was still enough to beat like my passive perception, so I'd turn it. Who was that? Fuck, which
He actually hit a nat 20 for his stealth check to be in that corner.
Okay.
I was like, all right, Dia's gonna try to stealth. Holy shit, neither of them are gonna know he's a ghost.
Damn. I really
Johan
wanted
is
to
just-
stealth him back and do the same fucking thing to him.
now standing somewhat alone on a street, like,
All right, but
yeah, Nero comes back out.
yeah, he kind of disappears after you turn the corner and see that dagger. You look back to see where he went, and you don't see him anymore. But you pocket the dagger and walk back up to Dr. Johan.
Yeah, he
Oh.
really wants to kill me, it seems.
lovely. Johan keeps his hand in his bag the walk back to the place in his pouch.
For sure. You all make it back to the tavern, and we'll say it's probably getting close to time for Aldrin to come and find you all. Morgan will say that you get a long rest as you finally wake up whenever it hits evening.
You're free now, right?
He's got one more.
Yeah, I've still got one.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, this is still
That's not bad.
yesterday you all were on the side of a mountain with
I mean,
two
do
things
I
turning
need
into cannibals.
Yeah. Do I need to meet the lady? Can I just keep sleeping?
I mean, if you really want to, you could stay. I mean, everyone could explain your absence if you want to, but then your character is also not involved with whatever they talk with Dr. Fletchill about. So
Yeah.
Then you only get to play your rap.
Fine. I'll wake up.
All right. You wake up and you hear Tollet call from downstairs and say, "Best friend Nero!"
Just gets me all giddy every time I hear it. Best friend, Tollet, my mate.
Oladrin is here!
Okay.
Yeah, you all walk
Thank you,
downstairs and you see that Oladrin is kind of laughing a bit, talking with Tollet and finishing off a glass of chalk.
Ooh, one more for me, please, Tollet.
He already had one poured for you. And he slides it down the bar to you.
You're a real one.
If I drank enough Chaco, would it get rid of my level of exhaustion?
Until you stop drinking it, yes.
Shit. All right.
So you could take a drink right now and not have exhaustion for like the next couple hours.
Yeah, I guess might as well.
It's really fucking good. You take a big swig of this thick, viscous, very like chocolate flavored, with a bit of acidity and a bit of heat to it. It tastes really good, man.
I still don't trust it.
Keep waiting for the blood taste.
I'm waiting for the taste of betrayal.
Oladrin greets you all with a nod of her head and says, "All right, let's get going. I think Dr. Fletchill's already up in the room." So, and she starts walking you all out of the dormitory and up towards the central tower of the campus.
Yeah, I don't fight it. Might as well follow.
Everyone else going? You all do anything on the way, or?
Yep. Nope, just following.
Yep, I'll follow. I will be keeping an eye out for D-Hop, just in case he tries anything funny.
Okay, keeping an eye out for D-Hop. Let me move you all up as she leads you through multiple levels of the... I'm just going to drop your all's figures where you are.
Oh, okay.
It's a lot of moving. Boop and boop. She leads you through multiple levels until you get near to the top of the tower. So it looks like you're heading towards Dr. Fletchill or maybe Oladrin's like private quarters. And you are led up to this kind of central chamber where there's a pretty modest table set up. It's got some food on it, and you see Dr. Fletchill over by a large map of the world that's nearby this table. As Oladrin walks in, he looks up and looks over you all and kind of just nods a bit. Dr. Fletchill, a human man with kind of some wispy white hair, graying at certain parts, of a bit of a salt and pepper to it, clean shaven, and wearing what looks like a pretty, not really a robe. It's a bit too close cut for it. It's almost like a half robe, half suit, where it's just kind of tailored a bit closer to his body, but it has like the flowing branches to either side, and it's tied with a belt. He's got some slacks on with some very professional looking shoes, and it's all kind of this dark red and black, very rich colors to it. And he puts down this notebook that he had, closing it and walking over and says, "Oh, welcome to the campus. It's been a bit since I've seen you all. Please take a seat."
I'm good standing. I've been sitting for a while.
Dr. Johann, we're about to eat. You can't eat standing up.
Oh, I ate. Your friend Tollet is truly a wizard with his food.
And he actually is, yeah. But if you're sure, this is a friendly conversation, Doctor. There's no need to be on guard or anything, though. And
No, of course.
he kind of smoothly sits down in one of the seats, and Oladrin sits just on his right-hand side. What's everyone else doing?
Small will sit
I'll
across from them, if possible.
You can sit across from him.
I'll take a seat next to Small.
Morgren?
Yeah, I'll sit.
Okay. You all sit.
Yeah.
Dr. Fletchill starts
won't eat,
just
but I'll
making
sit.
a plate of some food, and he says, "Go ahead and help yourself. Anything you'd like." It seems like a lot of finger foods. There is like a bigger roast. It looks like of pork in the middle of the table, and then some sides and different things set up in not really overly ornate bowls or plates or anything like that. Pretty simple. It seems like where he'd eat, most of his stuff, and it's nothing overly fancy or anything like that. But yeah, he starts making himself a plate as well as Aldrin.
I'll have some soup. Do they have soup?
Yeah, there's a bowl of what looks like a pretty hearty stew that's set up on the table.
Well, I know I can eat liquids pretty easily, so I will. Now that I know that I can eat, and the first time it made me feel really good. I don't know that all food doesn't do that, so I'll try new food.
Sure, you try the stew too. Morgan, you eating anything?
No.
Okay.
I'll have a small bowl of stew, and I'm going to keep an eye on Small to see if he can taste the food.
Sure. You all start putting plates together, and Small, you see that Dr. Fletchill kind of looks in like kind of like a scholar. It kind of reminds you of the way your dad would look at you sometimes whenever you like first started learning to use magic and stuff like that, as he's just kind of watching you eat this stuff, and he kind of shakes his head with a smile and says, "You are actually a marvel sometimes to watch. You know that?"
Told that.
Do you
It doesn't really. I can't really taste it, but
That's what I was about
and
to
it doesn't.
ask. Yeah.
I don't really feel it like I did the chaka, but I assume it's good. Thank you.
I'm glad somebody said it because it's been killing me this whole time.
He kind of smiles a bit, and I'm an inquisitive type, so it's you have to excuse me. I'll ask questions before thinking about it too much.
That's okay.
So, you sure you don't want to join us, Dr. Johann?
Oh, no, I appreciate it. I am full.
He filled up on a lot of chaka.
Yeah, of course. I want to clear the air here. I know from our first conversation whenever you all joined us that you were hesitant, maybe didn't know what you were getting into. But you all should know that what we did, and he kind of like looks over at Aldrin, who is just kind of paying attention to her food for the most part. He looks back at you guys and says, "Oh, getting you out of Storm Talon, that was expensive, if nothing else, but also could have been dangerous for us, exposing ourselves. And you all have done a fair share of work trying to expose us. I mean, we're not completely unaware of who you had contact with and what you did. We know Small's father, Maximilian, is probably aware of what we're doing now. And, I want to make sure that we're on the same page, that we aren't holding that against you all. We know.
Why would you? We
Well,
didn't know that we weren't supposed to tell them until you told us not to, and then we didn't.
Exactly. And from there, you've more or less kept your end of this setup of keeping a secret, and we appreciate that. And you're members of the society. I mean, you have the tattoos. You could have, not done it if you wanted to, but you decided to, and everyone within the society is equals. You all are as equal to me as Aldrin is. So, whatever this, maybe I'm just reading too much into it, but I'm getting a general feeling of trepidation from you lot. And
Yeah, mostly because of the Amber Temple.
right, and he kind of nods and looks over at Aldrin, who kind of like shrugs a bit and seems to smirk, and he goes, "What all did you all actually find out there?"
Well, we stumbled into a temple and got caught in a time loop. And then we watched some, I think, echoes of the past. And then we found some amber golems that tried to encase us in amber. And then we found this big, huge monster thing that looked like it had a tortured person inside running. And then we found a sword stuck in a statue of Edris. And then we pulled the sword out, and the temple crumbled.
Nero, like, in between
That is the
bites
gist
of
of it.
stew, is like, yeah, truth be told, mate, seems like some real plotting end of the world type things. So you'll have to forgive any sort of hesitance to immediately buddy up to
I'm
you
often
specifically.
hesitant in the face of anyone who would use pain and horror and those types of emotions as a fuel for magic. And
Wasn't
that
there
way.
also like a threat of our memories being wiped if Patton joined the cult in the I'm sorry, the society in the first place?
Oh no, there was, yes.
Yeah, and see, the thing is, we didn't really choose. We went to the library to get some information. You know, that's what we do. We kind of learn, and nothing about gathering the three of y'all's memories and putting them together said, "Hey, you're about to take a trial." We didn't know that it was a trial that we could leave. We were stuck. Elemental things did 100% try to kill us. So we fought back
And killed
uh,
them.
and killed them, and or just stopped them, or whatever you want to call it. And then all of a sudden, hey, you're members. So it wasn't like we had a choice in all of this.
Dr. Fletchill just kind of lets all of you like talk for a bit and kind of unpack all that. And he just kind of listens like with a pretty passive face, like turning to each of you all. And as you finish, he nods and says, all right, I think I kind of understand the miscommunication. So, first off, for the trial, usually folks find that trial because of hints that myself, and he like motions over to Aldrin and she nods, that will like myself and other colleagues will come up with, during classes, or if we see someone that we think would be a good member, we'll kind of drop hints. You all just kind of found it on your own, just through your own kind of passive research, which honestly is what made us so interested in the first place. I mean, you, without any hints being given, found it. Now, I understand that puts you in a bit of a bind because you did something without understanding the full implications of it. And I hope that we've done our part to try to show the benefits of what you undertook. Now, I never intended it to be a threat for memory wipe, more of a protection. We were just going to remove your time in the library and the information you knew about the society. And that's more or less just standard procedure. I mean, if someone fails the trial, we also wipe their memories of it. So they'd have to undertake it anew and learn everything again to be able to access it. So that wasn't a threat. I hope that can allay that concern in particular.
Oh, that does make sense. Yeah, I mean, Dad oftentimes will, have secrets and not want people in on them as well. I don't know if he erases memories, but I wouldn't honestly put it past him. It was just, I think, more of the suddenness and the especially once again, the Amber Temple really freaked us out a little bit. And I mean, you guys got us out when we needed out, so that was helpful. And I didn't know it would cost you anything. So that you took that on, at least indicates that you're not actively trying to kill us.
All right, yeah, let's discuss the Amber Temple a bit then. So,
The ancient lost goddess in the room. I think it would be fair to address that.
yeah, what exactly did you find out about what we did there, though? Do you want me to just tell you everything, or I don't want you going in with any assumptions or anything, but if you have information, I'd rather be able to shed the appropriate light on it.
Can I do a quick history check to try
Yeah,
and recall?
I don't super remember what we would have.
Also, isn't he like impossibly old for a human right now?
He is a very, very old human, yes. But he's also a very accomplished wizard, so you're not sure how much of that is like magically done or if something else, happened.
Like potions of longevity or whatever.
13 on a history for me.
I'll just tell you what you would remember from your all's time at the Amber Temple. You recall that you found a lecture hall with some notes that Dr. Fletchill had been writing about different magical rituals that they had found in this temple and their experiments with them and things that they'd done with that. You saw a after image of Dr. Fletchill going into his quarters that were kind of hidden. You found the way to access those quarters, and you found a note saying that something had woken up and he had to find a way to stop it, and that he was going to the main chapel. You found the big golem that had been developed there that you all sealed in the amber. You found that the temple seemed to be one made to Etrus, a god in the in an old elven pantheon, the god of the quiet deep, and you found a amber sword stabbed into a statue of it that seemed to be the cause of the recurring kind of loop that you all were in.
Well, we found your notes. We followed an after image of you into a study. We found the shields to make the statues let us in. Like I said, we found the big golem thing with a tortured person inside. We know that the temple had either once been created for or enshrined to Etrus. We know that the sword stabbed into the thing caused this temporal loop. We also have found out since then that this sword is one of, I wouldn't say many, but one of a few created by other gods. Maybe they have swords too.
Also, I'm pretty sure some of those notes of yours that we found were amongst a pile of torture instruments. Could be misremembering.
All right.
Fairly
So,
certain I remember torture instruments.
yes, we did do some experimentation there. Let me lay this out for you. How much do you all know of the Sufin?
Do what now?
Everyone roll a history check for me. Dr. Johan, you can do this with advantage.
Yeah.
Dirty 20.
Small is not well versed in history.
26.
26, Dr. Johan. What'd you get, Morgan?
Yes.
Oh shit! I had 20.
Oh, hell yeah. So
I don't know how the hell I would know this, but
actually,
Everyone but Snall.
it's
Snall knows everything.
the connection to it is a very strange recollection for you, Morgan. You know that in the Feywild, there is a type of deity outside of the courts. You know that that there is Titania and Queen Mab, and there is Oberon that's sealed. But there also is a general knowledge of Oberon's kin. Other deities of other realms that each one seems to have their own domain, and the one that you spent most of the time in and knew the most about was Oberon's domain, the Feywild that he had created and that the queens now oversee. But you've heard whispers or talks or mentions from travelers that will come through the Feywild of the Sufin. The Sufin is the name of the pantheon of all of those kind of older, and they're considered elven gods, even though they were just like the elves were one of the first races made by these gods. So it's not really elven gods so much as just these long forgotten ancient deities that set up their own realms and were largely not like paid attention to by other mortals that came after the elves.
The name would click after that, yeah. The 8 elven deities in the Celestial Dawn.
Correct. The Celestial Dawn is the name of the primary group of these deities. That is like the central four that kind of make up the kind of the large ones. It's kind of like in Greco-Roman mythology, this is like Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades. Like the Celestial Dawn are these like powerful ones that had siblings and offsprings and stuff like that. And the Sufin is the name of the entirety of that pantheon of people.
I would say that we know a couple of names.
Dr. Fletcher kind of nods and says, "Yeah, I figured you'd know something about that, Dr. Johann. Honestly, I paid quite a bit of attention to some of your notes from your earlier expeditions. I think that you in particular would be really interested in what we've been working on here." And he kind of nods down to your. Go ahead.
Interested is the correct word.
He kind of smirks a bit and says, let me be clear first off. So about the Amber Temple, yes, I did some experiments. I researched some very old spell work and tried to recreate it. I understand how some of that old work that I tried to do could be viewed as heinous. I'd agree with it, honestly. I did not find any particular pleasure in doing it.
Can I inside check that?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think Johann just chooses to not believe it, regardless of insight.
Fuck me. That's an 8.
An 8. He seems very genuine about it. Like he doesn't seem like he took any particular pleasure. And as he continues, he explains, and you kind of feel like he's just trying to explain what you all saw, and it's almost like an Andrew Ryan from BioShock kind of thing, where it's like yeah, this was morally incorrect, but this was to advance knowledge, and that is a good enough reason to do just about anything. And he explains essentially that, and he's like, now, I did that research, yes, but that's the only way to do that research. The people who made those spells and who worshipped Etrus, they were the ones that created those, and I could not understand how they worked without following the steps as well as I could. Now, I think that they were wrong. From my experiments there, I don't believe that's what Etrus really wanted. Maybe I found just the ramblings of an old cult, and it was all for nothing. But you, Dr. Johann, have a incredibly important artifact, and that is from the temple. And yes, I have seen it before. No, I have not used it before, though. That was never something that I ever wanted. I don't know if you understand what you've bonded to, but that's a weight that you're going to be carrying for a while.
I understand that it is important.
Quick question. Just been taking a little bit of mental notes as I've been listening to you, Dr. Fletchill. You had mentioned what Etrus wants. You said that the torture, whatever you want to call it, experimentation, wasn't what she wanted. Are you acting in the interest of Etrus, or are you against these old elder gods?
That's a pretty insightful question. No, I am not actively working towards the interest of Etrus in particular. I don't know how much you all are aware of what Stormtalon and Ravenheim overall has done. And I'm not saying that your home is, some of your all's home is an evil place necessarily, but they've created a pretty drastic power shift. In the past 20 years, that's become more pronounced, I'll say. As that power shift has happened, it's set into work something I don't think anyone truly understands yet. And he kind of leans forward on the table and crosses his arms in front of him, kind of just looking at you, Small, and then over to Nero, and then back to Small, and says, Small, you're kind of a representation of that shift, even if you don't really feel like it. You're a spark of something. And
Yeah, when Oberon was sealed.
right, yeah. You're unique, and even if you don't want it, you're kind of a representation of a god on the prime material plane. That's a imbalance. And he kind of looks over at Aldrin, and Aldrin kind of nods and says, yes, the more research we've done on what is happening, it seems that the ley line produced by Stormtalon and you, Small, and you, and he looks over at you, Dr. Johann, and says, that sword you carry and everything, this should not be the way that the world works. There was a reason that the Feywild ley line was scattered. It's in addition to the world that has kind of thrown off everything. The way magic works, it is a formula that uses the world as, where the equation is written. The ley line produced has changed that equation. And Dr. Fletcher nods and takes over and says, we have been researching what that change means exactly. And part of that is learning about this, the Celestial Dawn, the Seraphim. It's information that's been lost to years and years and years of neglect and lack of worship. And we are trying to find out what they're capable of, where they are, and what they're doing to try to fix this imbalance.
Well, to fix it, I think they mean to burn the tree down. Which is ideally not good. While we were in the temple, I did forget to tell you, while we were in the temple, of course, we were there for what seemed like a long time, but we did sleep. And while we slept, all of us had a dream. I don't want to speak for my friends, but I will tell you my side. My home, my family, my whole life has been in Stormtalon, and I saw the tree being burnt and everything crumbling.
A giant fissure opened up in mine.
Now, the effect that you were under, and are you aware who made that sword, Dr. Johann?
I am.
Aeonsil, the god of time from the Celestial Dawn.
Oh, that would make sense, yeah.
Linked to prophetic visions. Now, I don't necessarily advocate that the tree needs to be destroyed. I don't like getting involved in geopolitical stuff like that. I don't have any particular grudge against Stormtown or anything, as I taught
Well,
there
I
for
mean,
several
you,
years.
you learn, right? So you do know why it was created in the first place, right? The
I
Winter
do.
Court was trying to take over and release Oberon and destroy the prime material and bring it back to
It
the
was the
Feywild.
Summer Court that was trying to do that, or a
It was the
agent
summer
of the Summer Court. Yeah,
agent of the
the
Summer Court.
Winter Court was trying to stop that from happening and from keeping all of the Feywild stuff out of the Prime Material plane.
Yes, sorry.
And they're still upset that Feywild stuff is in the Prime Material plane. That's why they keep trying to find holes in Yggdrasil's defenses.
Attack.
Yeah. And he nods and says, "Yeah, I understand why it was put together and what the Council of Stormtalon did back in the day. I was nearby. I was one of the people that had been called to help set up the university back when they were founding the city. So yeah, I'm familiar with it, but whatever the imbalance is, I want to learn more about it, and I'm hoping that the four of you can help me with that."
If it'll help protect my home, I'm down.
Quick counterpoint, just again taking mental notes. It sounds like your concern is the large concentration of Fey magic running through a ley line that isn't supposed to be in the prime material, and maybe that is somehow linked to, I don't know, maybe the revival of these old elven gods.
My concern is with magic overall. I think it's mortals' way of expressing their will to the universe, and this creation of this ley line and this change we're seeing in magic overall is my concern. I don't want to be unaware of a shift that would leave mortals powerless. Magic is something we enjoy, and it's something we've fought for, and I consider it a right of mortals. But if something happens and the Celestial Dawn vies for power on the prime material, I don't want it to be a all or nothing sum where we either have to fight against these gods or lose magic.
Personal feelings aside, I feel like I want to believe you. My holdout is you spent time in that temple, probably more than any of us. What? Who is to say that these gods, due to your close proximity to them, are maybe leading you down a path unknowingly or unwillingly that leads directly to their revival through your research? Do you have any sort of countermeasures to the mental trickeries of an elven god?
I'm very old, Nero, and I try to surround myself with very competent people. He kind of looks over Aldrin, who kind of inclines her head with a bit of a smile towards him, and he looks back at you all and says, I understand the concern, and it's something I've put a lot of thought into. Part of that tattoo on your soul is a countermeasure. Without going into too much detail of how complex we actually made that tattoo, if there is a touch upon it, it is something that it would make us aware of.
A touch of what?
A touch of influence from a power that shouldn't be there.
But you said I'm a representation of a power that shouldn't be here.
Mm-hmm. And we brought you in knowing that. And we've been watching you closely because of it. You're a special case, like I keep saying, Small, and we're not sure how you factor into all of this, but we'd rather be able to keep an eye on you than not.
One last thing. This is a very large organization across the entire world, it seems, spanning multiple continents. You said, I'm sure some of this is due to how long you've been around, but we also don't know what ties this organization has to the rest of the world. It sounds pretty far fetched that you'd be able to fund yourselves an organization this large without some sort of patron or benefactor of some sort. And if you know, you mentioned deific interference on the soul and being able to detect it, but what of an influence from the prime material, the mortal plane? You know, who's to say some greater power here isn't also influencing you? Because that seemed to be how it went 20 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. Uh, a lot of manipulation from superpowers trying to influence the world.
That's another fair point. I mean, we do have several sources of revenue, not only from our teachers and what we sell, but we do have a couple different patrons. I mean, here the Sultan is one of our larger patrons because of our help with the City of Glass. Latif Patel, the Sultan of Al Nilt, is a benefactor, but we also have a pretty large benefactor in the Pinador dynasty back on Wildmount. You all would know that the Pinador dynasty is a very old dynasty. If you look at the map, they are right below the Dunrock Mountains at the very far right side of Port Damali. And their empire is kind of that entire right side, upper right side of the map, like from the Barbed Fields up to the Dunrock Mountains is the Pinador dynasty, and it is actually, everyone roll me a history check to see how much you know about it.
Nat 1.
Almost the worst I could do, 11.
6.
Will you roll a dice for me? I had to walk away for a second and add 0 to it.
Yeah, I've got you. A 4. So I think 11 was the highest. Dr. Johan,
Yeah.
you've heard limited things about it. I mean, like, it's never been something you particularly cared to like do a bunch of research about. You know they're old, and you know that they are a very religious country, even to the extent that, like, I think this would be general enough knowledge. Like, their entire government structure is based off like different oathed paladins and clerics. Like, it's an entire country that their government structure is run based on all a central deity that everyone is a paladin or a cleric to be in a government position.
So, like a theocracy?
Yeah, it's a theocracy, but with an 11, you don't know much more about it or even what god they really seem to serve under.
One last thing, just something that crossed the old noodle. Is anybody here, or potentially someone with the ability to make big decisions in this organization, have a pact or a vow with, let's say the Fae, for example?
Let me think. No one off the top of my head has a pact with anything. And he kind of looks over at Aldrin, kind of squinting a bit, like trying to. And she shakes her head and goes, no, not in particular.
I want to insight check both of them.
Yeah, go for it.
Could I either do it myself or help him with that?
Sure.
Hey,
You need
there
help
we
if
go.
you want.
26.
Oh, okay, there we go.
26. Dr. Fletchhill seems like he. Aldrin, first off, does not look like she knows of anyone that has a pact. Dr. Fletchhill looks like he's hedging a bit and that he might know a bit more. And he kind of watches you looking at him, Morgren, and he shrugs and says, I don't know about anyone higher in the organization, but we do have some warlocks that are members of the Quill Society. But no one decision-making wise. Personally, I think having a patron is a waste of talent.
Oh, I wasn't just speaking of, a pact, more a promise or a favor, even something much more dangerous
That
than a pact.
I don't know. We don't usually keep that close of tabs on our members. With a 26, you tell that is true, that if there is someone who has a pact, he's not aware of it with like a high fae.
Okay.
As
Kinda
far
give,
as
like,
I'm aware,
Nod
no.
my head.
So I guess, really, for me, what do you want from us?
I am very glad you asked. And he kind of stands up from the table and he walks over to the map that he'd been at before, and he points at a spot not too far away. On your all's map on Tal'Dorei, to the northwest look at the map I linked has the spots for the different temples as well. And to the
Which one did you drop that in?
in item drop.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I see.
Yeah. So to the northeast, near at the towards the top of the map, where the Neverfields are. Do you all see that temple marked there?
Yeah.
Yeah, the blue spot.
Yeah, he points to that and says, this temple here is one of the temples for the Celestial Dawn, specifically Thysros, which is the god of the Long Forest. We would really like to get in there, but it's been locked. And I'm hoping you, and he points to you, Dr. Johann, and he points down to your amber sword, could get in. Thysros and Aeonsil are brothers, and we're hoping that you might be able to pass through what we can't.
I would wonder why you then. How did you get out of the Amber Temple? You know the blade, you know what it did, but you say you didn't do it.
Oh, I didn't get out. I died in there.
That's what I thought.
One of me died in there, at least.
Okay, yeah.
That's some very powerful magic.
Yeah, it took a really long time to learn, too. You all stick around long enough, I might teach it to you.
Sweet.
But I can also only assume, with your knowledge of this blade, that you know certain lines. It seduces with the allure of forbidden might, but its grasp will render you a mere vessel of chaos. You know these words, but I know you did not write them. Why would you want to use me with this?
Because
you
right,
may not be grasping it, but these things are transitive.
I understand, and I don't want to put on airs here. We're scrambling. This is something that's been building for a long time before any of you all went to the Amber Temple. We've been trying to figure this out, and with the creation of that ley line, everything's accelerated and it's coming to a head. And we are starting to run low on options here. We need to start figuring stuff out, and I'm willing to be a bit dangerous to do that.
One last insight check to see, like,
Yeah,
because he's kind of talking
give me
about the
insight.
plan as a whole. So I'm wanting to see if he's like, there's actually some shit going on, or if he's just using us.
Yeah, go for it.
Instilling a sense of urgency. in us
Exactly.
so we can-
So we have to make a decision quick. 24.
You can, with a 24, you notice a hint of desperation to him, honestly. Like, this is a very old man, a very accomplished with magic, that seems like he has the resources and has spent the time to cultivate a lot of what he needs to try to figure out what's happening, that is starting to run low. Why am I having a hard time with run low? Run low on options. Dr. Johann bonding a sword that he didn't want to have control over him is just kind of like a, well, someone's got it, let's see if it works type move. You notice that this is like a, they're trying to show you that they're not bad people because they are looking for something to try to break this, like, the stalemate that they're in here. The Quill Society has clearly been trying to get ahead of something and are falling behind, and they're trying their best to be like, okay, come on, like, we know that how this looks, we know we're what you all went through and everything, but this is kind of like we need this is a gamble, and we're trying to show you that we're
Kind of like
trustworthy.
Kind of like, why did y'all have to like see that place first before?
Yeah,
meeting
like
us?
you all
kinda
saw
thing.
like kind of
They
a
went to,
really
like,
bad
that
side of
one-
it, and they understand
Yeah.
your trepidation. He's trying his best to be like, but this is also a super old man that is used to getting what he wants. So he's trying his best to be like, listen, we're not bad. We're trying to get ahead of something here, and I don't know what else to do.
If things are as dire as you're making them out to be, why haven't you worked together with Storm Talon to try and resolve it? Why all the secrecy? Who are you trying to hide from?
He kind of pauses and looks up at you, Nero, and says, the problem with all of this, the main thing that we're trying to keep it as under wraps as possible is, do you know how gods work, Nero?
If I did, I couldn't call myself immortal, could I?
Right. Gods only work as long as they have believers. It's faith of mortals that gives a deity power. The more people that are aware of a deity, even in a fear or, a sense of preservation, and the more that are aware of it, the more powerful it gets. If this was something that was common knowledge and everyone thought that the Seraphim and the Celestial Dawn were trying to make a move on the Prime Material, being aware of that plan is enough to give it power.
And yet you've created a whole organization that's in on this plan?
Not all of the Quill Society is aware of what we're doing all the time. We have different sects doing different things and doing different research. I've always believed in compartmentalization. Even research that is not done specifically to advance this can be useful to it.
But that is your allegation, that the old gods are trying to make a move?
Or just trying to be known again to regain their power?
I
And you've
see
got a patron.
I see things moving that shouldn't be moving. I see parts of the world that are not behaving the way they should. And I believe you all might know something of that. I mean, you've been in Stormtown for a while, but I also know that from what you told me of some of your times and what we've heard, that you know that things aren't operating the way they should all the time there. And the world overall, that's not exclusive to just Stormtalon. That's happening in a lot of places.
Quick meta question. Is the Weave and Mystra a thing in your world?
No.
Okay. Alright, Nero will stay silent then.
So, like I said, my motivation, the biggest thing that I wanted to do was discover who I am. Because as smart as my father is, he can't tell me why I am the way that I am. And I really don't want my home to burn. So I'm for helping you. I believe you. I may not have liked your methods, and I can understand why you did them. I like to learn and understand things as well. I kind of just am magic and have always been. I would like to find out what's going on.
Well, you can take the night to think about it. I'd like to put together an expedition for you all to make your way to that temple. I'll provide whatever I can to help with the journey, but that's my request. If you need some time to think about it, I understand, but I want you all to understand what the stakes are here. I don't know them fully, but I do know that whatever is moving has the potential to be disastrous.
And what do you hope to find? You want me to use this key, open this door. What do we expect to find behind it?
Hopefully, nothing. If we're very, very lucky, nothing is happening. If we're unlucky, you're gonna find maybe signs of revitalization that shouldn't be there.
I see.
But the fact that it's locked is already concerning. Yeah, go ahead, Joe.
First, I guess I'll ask you this first. What was the name of the island? Remember when I talked and asked that dwarf about where other turtles, like if he had seen any?
The Gravid Archipelago.
Okay.
That is by the Clovis Concordia.
Okay. I'm gonna ask. So I ask him if you teleported us here, across the continent. There's somewhere I really need to go, and if we do this, I was wondering if there was a way for you to maybe send me there, if that's a possibility.
Yeah, where do you need to go? We might have a network connection there.
I go to the map and show him the archipelago.
He kind of grimaces a bit and says, closest place we have would be Nicodranus, but that'd still take you a sailing trip to get there. Not that we wouldn't help, but it is a bit of a trip.
Okay. All right. Just wanted to
take the night.
Check before I make my decision.
We'll come check with you all in the morning and just think about it. I think this could be mutually beneficial. All right. Yeah, you all leave the tower, heading back down to the dormitory. You see a large moon overhead in the open desert. It's very calm and a bit cold out as you all leave, and it's a bit later at night. And as you all walk back into the dormitory to discuss the next step and what you're going to do, we will call it there for the night.
Awesome.
Hell yeah, brother.
That was nice.
Jeez.